hello there, folks. This is Dr. Dino here once again with another Creation Science Theta. Today I'm joined by Ember, who is currently off refilling their coffee, so we'll get started in just a
Coffee.
second. And Ember's back.
No, I just had to wait till the intro was over because I couldn't mute my mic while it was already muted.
Fair. Well,
Yeah,
go get your coffee then. Go get your
I
coffee.
will. Back in a minute.
Anywho, today we are not doing a simple one video or two videos. We actually have four. Four short videos from a channel called Apologetics Press, whose headline act appears to be the infamous, let's say, creationist speaker, Kyle Butt. And yes, as far as I'm aware, that is his actual name. Butt. He gets a lot of things wrong. I mean, go figure, he's a creationist, but even for that crowd, he gets a lot of things wrong. But hey, at least some of the things he says are funny. And it's worth correcting people. Well, it's worth correcting those kinds of people when they spread misinformation like they do. And hey, if nothing else, we get to see some cool fossils. Like right here on the screen. I'm actually curious. People in the chat, does anyone recognize this T-Rex? It does have a name. Let's see if people say it. For now, though, hello, Tsumami. Sinedra might be joining us again, or might be asleep, because 2 a.m. And yep, 3 Sues. Good job, folks. Good job. uh, Tsu. I mean, yeah, that works. I do love that you can recognize tyrannosaurs just from the skull, or at least from the fossil. Like, they're very, very recognizable animals. You miss Sue, Jester. It's sad. I mean, hey, you can always go back and visit, or I'm pretty sure the Field Museum has like a virtual tour. I think they do. A lot of museums do. They put them up in 2019/2020 because they couldn't get a lot of actual foot traffic. Science Museum of Minnesota has a reproduction of Sue. Oh, that's pretty neat. Yeah, some museums will put out reproductions like that, and they tour them all around. Another T-Rex, Scotty, he got toured around like that. Let's see, for now, we can start once Ember gets back. But if I can get the image to work. Speaking of recognizable T-Rexes, does anyone know where this T-Rex is at? What museums it's at? Or what museum it's at? Just out of curiosity. This is a very famous one. I'm not sure if it has a name. Does not seem to actually have a name, which is interesting. Huh. I mean, it's been in this museum for a few years, like about over a century now, actually, I'm pretty sure. And hello, Dave. Hello. One
Hello,
person
peoples.
did get it. This is from the American Museum of Natural History in New York.
Eat. Yeah, you don't have to wait for me. I'm listening in while I'm away. And coffee's cooking. I'll have to actually go fill it later, but you know how coffee is.
Ah, yeah, it is for you. Well, in that case, we can go ahead and get started. As I said,
Wee.
we have 4 videos to go through. They range from 5 to 10 minutes long each, totaling up to about a half hour of footage.
Okay,
Uh,
we've got a fair chance.
yeah. And I'm not sure this first one is presented by Kyle Butt. So we'll see. See what they have to say about dating dinosaur fossils.
Gotta ask for
As
consent
we read
first.
literature about dinosaurs or watch videos and movies about them, we're often told that dinosaurs lived millions or hundreds of millions of years ago. In fact, the standard idea is that dinosaurs began to evolve about 220 million years ago and that they died out 65 million.
I mean, a little off there. We have some dinosaurs that are pushing about 230 million years, and it's closer to 66 million years that most of them died out.
He's in the ballpark, though. I'll give him credit for that.
Yeah. Oh, also, I love people are recognizing that skeleton from Night at the Museum. I'm pretty sure that one is based on it. Though, I I think they used a. Did they create their own layout for the American Natural History Museum?
I don't know.
Because the T Rex isn't in a main hall; it's up in the dinosaur wing.
Yeah,
Pretty sure it's
unfortunately,
been like
the
that for a few decades.
the one time I managed to swing by there, I wasn't able to go see it because that whole wing was closed that day.
Ah, that's sad. There is
Yeah,
one pretty big dramatic display you can see though. Uh,
I saw the big old mastodon in the front lobby.
well, they have a dinosaur called a Barosaurus raising up on its hind legs to defend its baby from a Allosaurus
That's
in one of the big
ridiculous.
lobbies. Oh, it's really cool. But the weird thing is, it could have done this. Diplodocids like Barosaurus could rear up on their hind legs pretty easily.
I can't even imagine what the view would be like from that head way the hell up there. Like if it were gonna stomp on that predator, like it's almost looking straight down on top of it. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, sauropods are sauropods are just insane in general. But yeah, it's one of the coolest museum mounts I've ever seen. And I'm pretty sure it's from like the uh I want to say mid 20th century. Could be wrong though.
Years ago. When you ask the simple question, how
Oh, also, this is indeed Kyle Butt, and people probably pick up on he has a very distinct voice, and
Mm-hmm.
he really likes to overemphasize his pronunciation of words, and you can see it when he talks. It weirds me out.
I think it's something he picked up in Bible college, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of preachers do it.
Mm-hmm.
how do you know that? Well, we're told that there are dating methods that give us these vast hundreds of million year ages. In fact, it's suggested to us that these dating methods would even give us dates of 4.5 billion years or more. Well, how do these dates work and are they accurate? You see, as we look into these dating methods, we see that they are radiometric dating methods that are often used for these long ages of millions.
I mean, often, yeah,
Yeah,
not
it's part of
always,
it.
but often.
Yeah, because like there's a bunch of different things that confirm each other. Like well, for one thing, the superposition in the geologic column, but also there's the varves that you've talked about, the
Mhm.
dendrochronology that I enjoy, though that only goes back a few thousand years.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of things, and they not only overlap, but they corroborate each other. It's very similar to the standard candle thing that we do in cosmology, where we can use the brightness of a certain kind of star to determine distance out to this far, and then we can use the brightness of supernovas to go out to this far, and so on and so
Mhm.
forth. And they all overlap each other. So even though no single thing will get us all the way to as far as the James Webb Telescope can see, they because they overlap, we can build out and get accurate distances at those
Yeah. And,
great cosmic
well,
well distances.
like standard candles aren't something I completely understand, but I'm not an astronomer. I like to look at the ground. And fortunately, the Earth is not a star.
Yes, very much so.
Although there is a bit of overlap, because there is a type of age dating you can do where you can measure how long it's been since the surface has been exposed to starlight or sunlight.
Ooh, that's interesting.
I think it's called electron spin resonance, something like that. Like the light from the sun excites electrons, and you can measure roughly how excited they are to see how long it's been since they've been exposed.
So they get bored if they don't see the sun for too long.
Apparently.
Yeah, that's fascinating. From another perspective, the Earth is made from dead stars, so it kind of is a star in a way. The entire process of biology on Earth is a sort of necromancy.
Oh dear. Also, radiometric date versus radiometric prune. I uh
Millions of years. And the way that that works is that there is a radioactive element. A radioactive element such as maybe uranium 238, and it breaks down into another element like lead. And so the radioactive element is the parent element. The lead would be the daughter element, and supposedly it takes
Well,
4.5 billion.
one of the daughter elements. It's the
there's
decay chain.
yeah, there's quite a long chain between uranium and lead. It's not like it just bloop turns into lead.
But he's not entirely wrong. Like they are the end points. It's just there's a bunch of other points between them.
Yeah, a rather lot. It's
Mm-hmm.
oh boy.
Yeah.
Also,
Which is yeah.
it dawned on me that in that previous scene we stopped on with the microscope, they were showing DNA over the microscope. That's not the same as
Oh, I didn't
radiometric dating,
realize that.
but yeah, my brain is slow. I'm completely wiped out. But yeah, here's our decay chain, and you can see
Mhm.
the uranium 238 decays into thorium, which decays into protactinium. That's one I
I
don't say
I
very
think
often.
that's palladium back to uranium, thorium, radium, radon, and then it turns into a freaking web until eventually
Yeah.
going all the way to lead.
Yep, this lower section, it can go a number of different ways, whether it decays alpha or beta first, and then it will do the other, and it'll just bounce, 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 bounce until it eventually ends up at lead. But you'll see there's actually three different leads it can be, just two of them are unstable.
Yep. And
What fun.
radioactive stuff is insane, but also you can see like some here are measured in either seconds or is that that's picoseconds. So that's like 1 billionth of a second, I think, or like 164 billionths. I don't remember how small that is, but it's tiny. Also, howdy, Al. But yeah,
Well, 12 zeros between a regular second, 0
12.
point
Okay,
12 zeros, and a 1 is 1 picosecond.
so that's let's see, million is E6, Billion is E9. So that is 164 trillionths of a second. Holy
Yeah,
cow.
so some of these guys are extremely unstable. Hey, it's a mark.
Mhm. Yes, we have a mark. Hello, hello.
Hello, how you doing?
Not terrible. We are exposing ourselves to the butt.
Oh, you're exposing yourselves. Okay.
Well, if you're gonna show your butt, I'm gonna show my tits.
Oh, there you go.
Oy vey.
I didn't realize this was a tits and ass stream. I'm sorry.
Oh dear. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
just tried to drop in. I can't stay that long. I've got something to do. Been invited to have a morality discussion, which I will put up in a bit. But yeah.
Ooh, fun.
I was talking with CJ Cox and sort of he's good to talk to because he's not like a raving lunatic like some of the theists out there. So yeah, it'll be a good discussion. So yeah, but that's a while away, but I do have to have lunch and get ready first. But I thought I'd drop in. Though I
Hell yeah.
can't stay forever.
All right. Well, might as well get to working on this while you're here then.
Yeah, sure.
Looks like he's about to touch a bit on radiometric dating.
Well, I found it
Years for
interesting what
half
you
of
were going
us.
through. That's all.
Oh,
It was
sorry,
interesting,
what was-
the radiometric decay kind of thing, because that was interesting. What you were going
Mhm.
through.
Yeah.
Sample of uranium-238 to break down into lead. And as we find a rock sample, we look at how much parent element and how much daughter element is in the sample, and then we extrapolate from that the date. You know, the problem
think
with
breaking
that
down
is
is a-
that
I think breaking down is the wrong way to describe that. It doesn't break down into it. Like I don't know. It's weird.
I mean, we use decay just to mean it's going through a process and ending up as a different element. I don't think I'd call it breaking down either, but oh well.
It implies it
So
could be
that's-
fixed.
Well, that said, though, the particles that are sent out during radioactive decay can damage crystalline structures, so they can't
Mhm.
break down the crystals that house them, and that is
Sure.
something we have to take into account.
Mhm.
Yep. Radiation can ruin your day.
Oh yeah, just ask the people who discovered it.
The Curies, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
these dating methods are based on several assumptions. The first assumption, the first thing that cannot be proven and that shouldn't be granted to this discussion, is that the rate has always been the same.
So we have no reason to think it was ever different.
I mean, he's technically correct, which
You are technically correct. The best kind of correct.
yeah.
Maybe not in this situation, but
No,
technically
not
correct,
in this
yes.
case. Like, I mean, it goes to the fundamental presuppositions, like that the universe is older than last Tuesday. Yeah, it's technically a presupposition, but come the fuck on.
Mhm.
Well, and plus you'd sort of have to rewrite physics if the laws of decay are different. Like what you're suggesting is so, it's so weird. It just, I don't know. It's just how would that even work?
Mhm.
You might as well say, well, it's magic, because at that point you're not grounding it in anything but sort of wishful thinking, essentially.
Okay. Also, sorry. That is an insult to Mr. DNA. Please take that back. Oh. Mr. DNA is a lovely person.
You see, that is the assumption upon which these radiometric dating methods are based, that if we can calculate something right now, then we will extrapolate back millions or billions of years. And we will have to say the rate that it's breaking down now is the rate that it's always broken down. But if that
Isn't it
isn't
fascinating
true, then
that these creationist types are real keen to take actual constants and say, oh, but we don't know for sure that they're constants. But when it comes to things that we know the rates change, like lunar recession, then those are definitely constant. If lunar recession is extrapolated backwards in time, the Earth can't be more than 1.4 billion years old, except the rate isn't constant. So it's almost like they're deliberately trying to do science completely backwards.
Yeah, and also, just like we've said before, these different dating methods cross corroborate one another. So if you want to say that the radiometric decay was different in the past, then it shouldn't line up with tree rings. It shouldn't line up with varves. It shouldn't line up with other radioactive isotopes. But they all do. So you want to try to debunk one by saying this, show evidence that the others have changed. Just show evidence that it could have changed. Come on.
and you could come into some very wrong dates. Suppose that you were watching a man chop down a tree and you looked on the ground and there were 24 trees that had been chopped down, and you timed how long it took him to chop down the tree you were watching, and it took him 1 hour. How long has this man been working? You know, it's almost a trick question, but here's how the dating methods would work. You look at how long it took him to chop down one tree, you see how many trees are on the ground, and then you multiply that number of how long it took him to chop by how many are on the ground. And so if you see that it took him 1 hour to chop down a tree and there are 24 trees on the ground, then it would be a 24-hour process. But then,
so maybe a better analogy would, a more accurate analogy would be if you bought a 12-pack of Kyle's candles, and these candles all burn at the same rate, and you start burning them at different times. They're all burning at the same rate because they're all the same kind of candle. And so if you find one that has burnt down to this much, you can measure how long it's been burning, because they all start at the same size and they all go down at the same rate.
Well,
Yeah, but
and
he
let's
doesn't
not
want a
forget,
fair analogy.
let's not forget the
True.
fact that like you sort of assign a rate of cutting down trees and you sort of add up the trees. Okay, like gotcha. But you're sort of going, oh, because he cut down trees, you know, at this faster rate in the past, then he cut down these 20 trees in 2 seconds. You know, like it's just like you're so far out from the actual answer, you know, when you're talking about 4.6 billion years, to say sort of 4,000 or 6,000 or 10,000, whatever they're saying. I usually, what is it, 6 to 10? Sorry, I just woke up. You're so far out. Like, it'd be like saying, oh, well, you know, because the tree chopper cut down trees so fast in the past, then he did it in 20 minutes. No, you're way off. Like, that isn't, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Also, as pointed out by Pinworm, this is a lovely screen cap.
Hell yeah.
Oh, really?
Although,
Yeah.
in fairness, Kyle usually freezes on an interesting face like that.
Yeah,
I gotta get
I didn't have to search long to find one for the thumbnail.
then you go to him and you ask him, how long have you been chopping trees? He explains to you that he's only been chopping trees for about 2.5 hours. When he was first starting and he had a good breakfast and his axe was sharp, he was chopping down 8 trees an hour or so. But then he started trailing off and he only chopped down a few trees this last half hour. And so you calculated based on the current rate of the one tree that it took him 1 hour, and you miscalculated by over 20 hours.
Okay, so with your analogy, Kyle, if the radiometric decay had been occurring at an exponentially higher rate in the past, it would have let out way more heat and caused way more damage to the crystals surrounding it. We would see that.
Get
I
to that. Did he solve the heat problem? Is the question that I usually ask. Yeah.
I think Kyle doesn't understand algebra. Like what he's explaining is almost works like half-lives. Like the dude in the first half of the day, he cut down a whole bunch of trees. And then in the second half of the day, he'd exerted most of his energy, and it's like just like half-lives. The first half of your sample decays in the first half-life. And then the second half-life, you only break down a quarter of the original sample size, and then an eighth, and so on. So the rate of cutting down trees, in this case being emitting hydrogen or helium nuclei, does decrease. He almost gets it, but not quite.
As happens a lot when they try to give analogies. Because, yeah, they don't
It's not a
want
very good analogy.
an accurate analogy.
No, it's a terrible analogy.
And plus, like, it wouldn't be, oh, you've missed by 20 minutes. It would be like you've missed by like several years, kind of thing. Like, the amount that they're off is ridiculous. So the analogy doesn't work.
Yeah, it really is more like just like a clock. It always ticks at the same rate, and we can see it because we can buy 500 clocks and set them up on a wall, and almost all of them are going to tick 1 second every second, or 1 hour every hour, and it happens every time we look. Unless you got the odd clock that is broken, which we can tell. So we don't use it to tell time.
Well, the bottom line here is that he's just trying to fling up a smokescreen because if a 6,000-year Earth is real, then billions of years simply can't be true. So anything he can do to sow doubt, it's fair game in his book.
You see, the problem of basing something on the assumption that the rate has always been the same. Could it be that the rate of decay in the past was different than it is today? Absolutely. That could perfectly well be the case. And so you can't
do demonstrate
grant
it
the
then,
dating
Kyle.
methods.
Yes, please show us that it was.
Or at least show us that it could be. Like, if you're going to assert it's plausible, demonstrate, please. We should clarify, for anyone who's not familiar, Kyle Butt is a young Earth creationist. He's not just any evangelist. He believes the Earth is 6,000 years old. Because Bible.
That assumption. Assumption number 2 is that there were no traces of the daughter element in the sample to start off.
Which is why we are very particular about what minerals we analyze. Because there are plenty of minerals that only let parent in.
Yeah, like the reason I had that decay chain is because it came up on a previous video where a guy was complaining about decay rates in zircon crystals, and he was like, "Well, how do we know there wasn't any lead in the zircon crystals before the decay started?" Well, fun fact about that: zircon doesn't admit lead; it only admits uranium and thorium.
That's how they form.
Yep.
Same is true for potassium argon. The crystals only form because argon is a gas. It doesn't form with argon in it. So the only way argon can get into the crystal is when potassium decays into argon.
with. You see, if you have a sample and it's
Contamination.
got a certain amount of parent element like uranium-238 and a certain amount of daughter element such as lead in it, you have to assume that no lead was there to start with. There again, that's an assumption. You just can't grant these dating methods. Suppose you go
you
to a
can, because
person's
we
swimming.
we actually can
Yeah.
we can demonstrate that, Kyle. It's not an assumption because we can show with the stuff that we sample that actually is the case.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just letting him go because we did address this.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kyle also does like to repeat himself a lot.
Swimming pool, and you see that there is in the swimming pool a full swimming pool of water, and let's say it holds 3,000 gallons, and there is a hose that is running into the swimming pool, and that hose has been running now for about an hour, and you've been watching it, and it has put in 100 gallons of water. Okay, so there are 3,000 gallons in the swimming pool. That hose puts in 100 gallons an hour. So how long has the hose been running into the pool? Well, you would start looking at that and you might say, well, it's been running. If you take the 100 and you take the 3,000 and divide it by 100, then you're going to get something like 30 hours. But then you knock on the door and you ask the people, hey, how long have you been running your hose? And they say, oh, this pool was almost full. We've only been running it for about 3 hours. It was full of water just about, but we had some kids playing it yesterday and they splashed a bunch of the water out. And so we were just topping it off. Well, they've only been running the hose for 3 hours now. But if we assumed there was no water in it to start with, well, that would change the amount of time that it's taken to run that hose considerably, wouldn't it? You see, the idea that no daughter element is in the sample to begin with, well, that just can't be assumed. In fact, what we find is many times when we know how old a rock will be, for example, an igneous rock that was formed by a volcano maybe near the islands of Hawaii, and we know that the rock is maybe only 200 years old. But when we take a sample of that and we look, we find that there is a considerable amount of daughter element already in the rock from the beginning.
Okay, I'm pretty sure he's referencing Steve Austin here.
Oh dear.
Stone cold.
What is with their pronunciation of water? He's worse than Hovend on that one. Not that I really should be criticizing others' accents, but
I think it's a derivation of Hovind's water.
I think it's a Bible school thing. I think when they learn how to be preachers, they learn how to over-enunciate certain words, vowels, letters in certain ways. There's a lot of them from their generation that do that.
Yeah. How old is Kyle Budd? Because I could believe he's anywhere from 30 to 60. Honestly, no, I can't tell. I could believe it.
The beginning. And so that dating method assumption that says there's no daughter element in it to start with.
If he dyed his hair, I could believe it.
51, according to the Googles.
Oh, hey. Wasn't too far off then.
That just simply can't be granted. And then there's the third assumption upon which the dating methods are based, and that's that nothing has contaminated the rock for the last however many years it's been around.
Your mom was contaminated.
One, we can tell pretty easily if a sample has been contaminated. Two, we do our best to avoid contaminated samples. And three, things like zircons are near impossible to contaminate unless they're already pretty busted up from radioactive decay.
Yep, we don't like the busted ones. They're not shiny. Or they're too shiny.
Yeah, we like to be accurate, so we take these things into account. These would be okay questions for a intro to geology class. How do we know this? How do we know that? But to just put them out here like this, oh, these are obvious problems they obviously haven't thought of and they're ignoring? No.
Never crossed anybody's mind. Yeah, no, it's...
I wonder if Kyle ever gets tired of saying the same wrong things over and over and being corrected again and again and then saying the same wrong things as if he'd never been corrected.
I mean, most preachers don't seem to.
I think Hovind revels in it. It's sort of like his jam, but I don't know. Kyle, I just don't know about Kyle.
Around. There's been no water that has come into the rock and added any elements or.
Okay, one thing I will give this channel. They have some pretty nice stock footage.
I mean, stock
Can
footage
you
is
give
pretty
credit
easy to find.
Stock footage. I just the whole point is somebody else did it. No, I've got no
Look,
problem with stock footage. It's just,
I'm trying to find good things, okay?
Okay, sorry.
The stock footage is okay. Like I like this slow, I'm gonna guess slow drone flight through a wooded valley. Like it's nice.
Yeah, it's a drone flying down the just a few feet over the water, and then normally, depending on the drone, it'll film at either 25 frames a second or 60 frames a second. But it's super easy to speed it up and make it into almost a time lapse. They've also one area where it's a big plus is they've at least for the stock footage producer is they've also applied an extra motion blur effect around the edges of the frame, so it looks like it's going much faster than it is.
Oh, you're right. And also, I think I'm not sure the right term. Is this like a fisheye lens, or like it's slanted more towards the sides but focused in the middle?
Well, it varies a lot from drone to drone. Some of them have changeable lenses, like some of the old DJI, the big ones. You can actually mount a micro four thirds camera and put whatever the heck lens you want on it. But if it's a fixed lens drone, then it's probably got something around a 60, 70 degree field of view, which is slightly wider than the human eye.
Okay.
Taken any elements out. There's been nothing that.
Yeah, but like you could see the rocks stretched as they went towards the edge of the frame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I suspect that's a digital effect to make it look speedier, but without knowing which drone was used, it could be legit.
So I was distracted by the pretty footage. What did you say?
Added any elements or taken any elements out. There's been nothing that has altered the rock in any physical way as far as the parent element and daughter element goes. You know, the assumption that nothing has messed with a rock for the last 4 billion years or the last 200 million years or the last 50 million years. You just simply can't grant that. There is no telling what has messed with that rock and what has gone into the rock and what has come out of the rock in the last 100 years, 1,000 years, 2,000 years. And so that third assumption that nothing has contaminated or altered the makeup of the rock, well, it just simply can't be granted. You know, in 2000.
That's
Okay,
why
that
we
guy
check
was
things.
not using that. So that guy was not using that lens very well.
No, fun thing about stock footage with actors, the actors are actors. They don't know how to do the profession they're pretending to do. There's actually like whole sections of Reddit that are devoted to stock photo and stock footage actors pretending incorrectly. It's kind of hilarious sometimes.
Yeah, you're not. I might actually have that exact model there, but you're not seeing any. Like, oh cow!
Well, it just simply can't be granted.
Oh wait, I think he hit it with the rock. I think he hit the lens with the rock. Oh, that.
Whoops!
Oh, that poor pocket. Bleh. I wanted to say pocket microscope. That's not the right. We call it a pocket lens. But
yeah, magnifier.
Yeah.
You know, in 2005, the world of dinosaur discovery was rocked when a dinosaur fossil that was broken open, they began to study it in depth and they found that it wasn't fossilized, meaning it hadn't all been turned to stone.
What?
Incorrect. So I'm pretty sure he's talking about the Mary Schweitzer T-Rex.
Oh, of course, yes.
Collagen. Yeah.
Where they found blood cells. No, they didn't. they did not. Yeah.
For anyone
And it was
unfamiliar,
all fossilized, yeah.
Yeah, it was essentially entirely fossilized. They found microscopic fragments of collagen, which is a protein. It's in your skin. It would make what makes it stretchy. They found microscopic fragments of that had to be prepared in an acid bath for weeks, and then they were able to be like springy and could be moved around like modern collagen.
Yeah, if you've got to cook your turkey for weeks in acid just to be able to move it, I'd classify that as, stone or fossilized or whatever.
Like it was 99.999999999% permineralized or fossilized.
But it still changed our understanding of the fossilization process. How long it takes for something to fossilize.
Oh yeah, it was very unexpected, and it led to a bunch of new research, but it wasn't impossible. Like we didn't think it was possible for dinosaur bones, but we have found them in like mammoth bones, younger fossils. It just made it extended the period in which you could find soft tissue.
Mm-hmm. And it's got us poking in holes we wouldn't have imagined we'd be delving into previously to see if anything interesting might fall. I don't. I'm just kind of running with the butt analogy. Never mind.
Oh boy.
I can't help it.
What have I gotten myself into?
God damn it, M. Beamsy.
Hadn't all been turned into a fossil. In fact, it looked like there was soft tissue in that particular dinosaur.
It
bone.
looked like a maple
And as
leaf.
they started looking at that soft tissue, they realized that it was stretchy and you could stretch.
I'm sorry, that looks like a very seasoned steak.
Mmm. Yeah, look at all those
Like someone just
salts
sticking a
and
scalpel into
peppers
it for
and
some reason.
I cut my steak with a scalpel when that's the only thing handy.
Schweizer Schnitzel.
Stretch it apart and let it go, and it would snap back together. It looked like there were remnants of red blood cells in the sample. It was supposed to be a 70 million year old fossil that somehow has stretchy collagen and leftover red blood cells in it.
Microscopic fragments of collagen, sir.
Yeah.
If dinosaur bones were less than 6,000 years old, like, non-avian dinosaur bones, it should be the norm to find basically modern bone. But we never find that.
And that's a good question. So why is it that all the animals that died in the ark, are are in a lot better condition? So all of the quote unquote modern animals, like the megafauna, are in better conditions than the dinosaurs. Didn't they die at the same time?
It's a mystery.
It's a mystery.
Yeah, and so apparently we might have found collagen in a 195 million year old bone.
Ooh.
From a dinosaur. But I mean, knock on wood, good luck finding anything from the Permian or older. Good luck.
Remarkably, when they found this soft tissue, instead of saying, hey, we've been wrong about these millions of years of dinosaur ages, it should not have been that long. There's no possible way that soft tissue could last for 70 million years. Instead of saying that, they said, well, this soft tissue has been miraculously preserved.
Oh, yes, miraculously. That's what scientists say.
Well, okay, I can believe someone would say miraculously in a colloquial sense, but not in the way
Yeah.
he's going to take it to mean. And finding microscopic collagen fragments doesn't debunk all of the other evidence. It just makes us reconsider a couple things.
I know his argument from incredulity is he's straining it like the old collagen there.
Yeah.
I mean, we should be like theists and deny that it ever happened in the first place, should we? That's
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there we go.
But
Yeah.
Also, he's making another face that would be great for a YouTube thumbnail.
Or an
There was a
OnlyFans.
miracle at play, all right, but
Mm.
it wasn't the miracle of preserving soft tissue for 70 million years. The miracle that was at play and has been was God speaking this world into existence on that first week of creation. Humans and dinosaurs aren't separated by millions of years. God, on day 6, created all land living creatures, including dinosaurs, and that very same day, he miraculously brought into existence the first humans.
And can you
Show
prove that,
me
Kyle?
evidence.
It's a cool story, bro.
Mhm. Also, source for any scientist calling it miraculous. Source.
You see, humans and dinosaurs were created on the same day, and they're not separated by millions of years. And those dating methods that supposedly give us
Oh yeah, Jester just pointed out his color is effed up. Like, come on, man.
Well, I think that's the style of it, to be honest with you. I don't think.
Mm,
It's sort
Yeah,
of a casual
maybe.
look kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen some
Maybe.
colors like that in the past.
I mean, mine is, but I'm a one-man show and kind of make do with the wardrobe I have.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, no, fair.
220 million years of time for dinosaurs to have been around in the past. Well, they're simply based on assumptions that cannot be validated and should not be granted.
What about your
Dinosaurs and
assumptions, Kyle?
humans were created
Hmm.
together.
You want to talk about assumptions?
Mhm. Just a few. And yeah, that was
My assumptions are true.
yep, and that was the first video for this. And I love this. Comments turned off. Because of course.
Oh, of course they are.
Would want the flock seeing other opinions. However, that is not the only video we have for today. Up next,
You know what?
did dinosaurs evolve into birds?
You know what? I just love that I get to save these screen captures of his head as Butthead. That is the best thing to me.
Have you been saving screen caps of his faces?
Well, I just one, but I put it in and I saved it as Butthead, which just it makes me very happy that I get to do that. I'm not trying to be mean. It's just it's both funny and accurate.
Yes, quite. And it will come in useful someday because eventually you're going to need to make a thumbnail with Kyle's butt head on it.
Oh dear. Anyway, this one's a little shorter, mercifully.
Most of the writing done lately about
Side note, cool T-Rex.
dinosaurs contains the idea that dinosaurs evolved into birds. We're told that
I was
dinosaurs
expecting that
began
little girl
to
to
arrive on the scene.
chuck food at it, like she was going to feed it or something, the way she was like leaning over the railing there. Like just throw a T-Rex biscuit or some shit.
In about 220 million years ago, and that they began to evolve into birds and ultimately went extinct about 65 million years ago. Now,
Kyle,
what we've seen is that there are
they're
several
still birds.
problems.
Yeah, and also they didn't evolve 65 million years ago. We have birds going back into the Jurassic.
but Dinosauria kind of went extinct. Like that's a, there's no
I,
dinosaur avians, is there?
non-avian dinosaurs did, but
Right.
just because of how taxonomy works, Dinosauria is still an extant group.
Gotcha.
But
Okay, gotcha.
people know what you mean when you say dinosaurs are extinct. It's
Yeah.
just pedantic scientist mode.
Yeah,
No,
well,
I gotcha.
it's not so pedantic in this case because it was the sentence immediately after dinosaurs evolved into birds, and then dinosaurs went
Fair.
extinct. And I'm like, you just said
Fair.
they evolved into birds. You're aware of this fact. There are still birds, Kyle. God damn it.
Problems with this idea of dinosaurs evolving 220 million years ago and dying out.
Well, I mean, actually, ironically, you could say that all of the bird-hipped dinosaurs are extinct.
All of the what now?
All of the bird-hipped dinosaurs are extinct.
Bird-hipped.
So birds don't have bird hips?
So, in dinosaurs, there are two main classifications. There are the lizard hips, or saurischians, and the bird-hipped, or ornithischians.
Right.
Seems to be this one big divide at the very start of dinosaurs. Most of the carnivorous ones have lizard hips. So do sauropods. Basically, everything else that isn't a bird has the bird hip. But it was the lizard hip that led to birds. So all of the bird-hipped dinosaurs are extinct.
That's weird.
Yeah. So is that sort of convergent evolution kind of thing? Like, did they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And
interesting.
yeah, actually, this shows it pretty well. That. So everything over here, the pubis moved backward to make more room for their guts because they all ate plants, basically. And in birds, well, they need to lose as much weight as possible and make their body as compact as possible just to save space. So their pubis also moved back to make room for their guts, even though a lot of birds are omnivores. It's just kind of fun. Funny.
Yeah. They had a superior diet.
More adaptable diet. But yeah.
Also handy.
Yeah.
65 million years ago. And one of the real problems with the current literature about dinosaurs evolving into birds is that it simply cannot be the case for a number of reasons.
Oh, there's reasons.
We know dinosaurs did not evolve into birds is because there is a biological law of biogenesis.
What?
Which doesn't apply here at all.
That just means that living things come from other living things. Do you think dinosaurs? What? I don't understand. That is so confusing.
Yeah, dinosaurs started out with the ability to reproduce, so
right.
Irrelevant?
Does he think they went extinct and then became birds? I am so confused right now.
Or maybe he just thinks that dinosaurs were the first things to crawl out of the primordial soup.
Well, I mean, if the chicken came first before the egg, then how many pancakes fit on the roof? Bree says we have to start over.
Oh, yeah, all the way. Well, we're in a video about dinosaurs evolving into birds, and we're talking about biogenesis, Bree. I don't think you missed a lot.
Bree, yeah.
And it's a very simple law that says that in this natural world, living things multiply after their own kind.
Okay, you don't have to
That's-
add the kind there.
Yeah, he kind of modified that definition a little. He added a little something something.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that every biological experiment ever done is based on that truth? Now, you have been.
No, it is not.
No, it is not. But
Do
biology
you
is a
know?
complicated field.
Do you know every sentence Kyle has ever uttered is based on a single lie?
Mm. Now that I can believe.
I could probably demonstrate it too, but it'd be a long video.
Been knowing that biological law probably a large portion of your life. All that says is simply that when dogs have babies, they give birth to puppies. When cats have babies, they give birth to kittens. They don't give birth to something that's half cat, half something else. They don't give birth to something that's changing into something else. Cats have kittens.
Which is not what we say, Kyle. This is a very common creationist straw man.
Your
It's so
mother was
common,
a
I almost
pine
don't want to
tree.
waste energy addressing it. Because
It's almost like
It-
he's misunderstood the law of phylogeny, right? That it's sort of like he's tried to understand the law of phylogeny, got it completely wrong, that things don't change what they are, right? They don't change their clade, and then apply that
Mhm.
to yeah,
yeah, like what happens is things only become more specialized. Every creature, or sorry, every creature alive now is just a more specialized version of what its ancestors were.
Ooh, Purple's got an excellent point.
Oh. Oh, yeah, true, true. Ooh.
Dun dun
And
dun.
I mean, that's true for most insects. Like, most insects have
A whole
larvae.
lot of them for sure. Yeah, like bees. Baby bees
Mhm.
don't buzz. That's fascinating. So I wasn't prepared for this whole "you think you came from a strawberry" argument. So I had to. I just kind of like threw up strawberry Jesus here real quick.
I
People
mean,
are
it
like,
works.
why did you make Jesus white? I'm like, Jesus is a fucking strawberry. It's strawberry Jesus. That's the point. Because if I'm related to a strawberry, so is Kyle's God. Fuck him.
Mm. But yeah, like, so you have the group of dinosaurs. Some of them are specialized in having this hip structure. Some of them specialized into being carnivores. Uh, keep going down the line, like it's just more and more specialized. Some of them have long arms and long feathers and can glide at the very least. And then some of them can fly, and those are birds. Birds are just specialized Maniraptorans, specialized Silurosaurians, etc. Like, just going back, they fit really neatly into all the previous groups.
Logistics are fun.
hmm And they're pretty consistent. Like, the only times we really get into uncertainty is, well, I won't say the only times, but usually it's with, like, okay, which species is closest to the other species? Usually. The broad strokes are usually pretty easy to figure out.
Dogs have puppies. Horses have foals, cows have calves, and we see that that is the biological law all over the planet for as long as anyone has been able to study living things, that living things multiply after their own kind. Well, you see,
To put it in a more accurate way, living things replicate. That is a requirement to be considered alive, is
yeah,
to produce more of yourself.
he's misunderstood the law of monophyly. I got the name wrong. 'cause it's
That too.
really inside. Yeah. No, he's misunderstood that.
He's misunderstood a lot of things, and he's congealing
yeah.
it into this
Deliberately.
ball of terribleness.
Stupid. Yeah.
In order for dinosaurs to have evolved into birds, then they would have had to multiply into something else. A dinosaur would have had to have given birth to something that wasn't a dinosaur. It would have to be.
No. Okay, let me pull up Desmos. Either of you know what Desmos is?
Presume it's a fossil. Is that what you're talking about?
No, Desmos is a graphing software.
Ooh, fancy.
No, I don't know what this.
Let's just do a simple equation. X squared. So all of this is part of the same continuous line. But when you look over here, every part of the line is going downwards as it goes forward. And it continues going downwards. It doesn't stop going downwards.
It sounds like a great date.
But its rate of descent does slow down. And it keeps slowing and it keeps slowing until it's not descending at all. And then from there, it keeps doing the same thing. Its rate of descent keeps slowing and it starts going upward. And it goes upwards faster and faster and faster and faster. This is all one continuous line. It never stops being the same line. But as you progress through innumerable numbers, it changes. Even though if you were to zoom super, super, super far in, it's basically just a straight line.
Very nearly. Almost indistinguishable from one.
Yeah.
And
As
no
I keep doing this, it's
specific
nearly
number
indistinguishable.
changes. Yeah. The number will be what the number is. The numbers themselves don't move. And the next number in line is nearly indistinguishable from the previous number.
Yeah. But eventually, those tiny changes add up until you're no longer quite what your ancestors were.
Well, I think a good analogy would be that, in order for there to be a Spanish speaker, a Latin speaker would have to give birth to a Spanish speaker.
Yes.
Yes.
I like the language one.
Yep,
Right,
languages are very good analogy.
Yeah. And we know, well, that never happened. But we do know that Latin definitely turned into Spanish and, a few other languages as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
French yeah.
So I do really like the language analogy. The only thing I don't necessarily like about it is that languages can incorporate like unrelated languages into their structure.
Well, it's sort of like ERVs.
Kinda, I guess. But like if you try learning Japanese, you're gonna run across a ton of English words because they started picking up a lot of English words after World War II. Even though the languages are almost completely separated.
Yeah, every language picks up loaner words in a similar fashion.
That is interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a perfect analogy, but it does get to that central point that there is no point at which a Latin speaker gave birth to a Spanish speaker.
Yeah. Oh no. I'm sorry, Purple. I'm sorry. But look, if you zoom in enough, even the least straight line can temporarily appear to be straight.
That's why I contend that there is no such thing as a straight person, because they're just too far zoomed in.
There's always a little bit of curve.
At least a little.
Well, I think the idea of the Kinsey scale would definitely agree with you on that one.
I mean, like, even if you're not like attracted to someone, it's pretty easy for you to admire someone of the same sex.
Oh yeah, yeah. People who
And
say
it's
that
just a sliding
there's
scale.
exactly a spectrum by definition. Everyone is on, and I've never met a straight dude who could say Brad Pitt isn't attractive. Like, he may not be your type. He may have the wrong kind of plumbing for you to want to get down and dirty, but you can still say he's attractive.
Yeah. I mean, it was a meme for a while, but like, everyone can go gay for Ryan Reynolds.
Mm-hmm.
Including Ryan Reynolds, apparently.
Oh, he would.
A wild Beamsy has appeared.
Oh, yes, I see. 3 men reconcile their sexuality, the podcast.
I'll take it. Yeah, absolutely.
Then
Well,
what am I
wait,
supposed to do while you two hang out with Kyle?
Wait, sorry. I just realized the next theater is going to be 18. Can't quite make it an 18 plus stream on YouTube, but we could talk about sexuality.
Why do I feel like Kyle would be more offended with us saying, "Hey, everyone's a little gay," than with the dinosaur thing? I don't know. I just have that.
Okay,
suspicion.
which dinosaur species is the most likely to have been gay?
Oh, that's a good question.
It's like it would probably be a social
irrelevant,
species.
but good. I don't know.
There's some hypotheticals
for
that
no particular reason. I think T-Rex would be a little camp. I'm not sure why.
I was gonna say some kind of hadrosaur. Because we're pretty sure that most of them were highly social and very flamboyant.
Well, that's true. I don't know. I thought hadrosaurs would for some reason. Maybe this is just my perception. For some reason, I always think of them as motherly kind of thing. I'm not sure why.
It's because of Maiasaura, but there's tons of like crested hadrosaurs that were incredibly flamboyant.
What about the Dilophosaur? That's flamboyant.
True. But we know that these guys lived in big herds. So at the very least, they probably would have had more chances.
And they love head.
Sure, you could bring up, or you can say a hypothetical is irrelevant, but sometimes they're fun to think about. Like, which prophet of the major world religions do you think would tip best at a restaurant?
Religious people tip for shit usually.
Depends. I've had some very nice religious people sometimes.
It depends if they think you're in their in-group or not, usually.
Yeah, that
if
can
they
be
think
true.
you're a Christian, they may tip, a Christian may tip a lot better than if you're not a Christian. Which is kind of crap, but,
Sorry, God damn it, Dandy. Oh, jeez. Abraham would tip best. He gave up the whole foreskin.
Oh, no.
I like Dandy.
Oh, God. This is the first time I've seen them, but that's actually pretty good.
That's really good. I like it.
Oh, wait, would Buddha tip well? Because wasn't Buddha all about like giving up earthly attachment?
Yeah,
So I
Buddha
guess that would
give
mean he
you
wouldn't be too
all
beholden
his
to
money.
his own money.
to be evolving or changing into something that wasn't its own kind, and that would be a violation of the law of biogenesis. That simply is not scientifically possible.
The
So
straw
the
man
first
made
reason
up
we know
version.
that dinosaurs
Yeah.
The not actually the scientific law version.
Yeah. I misunderstood
So
the law of monophyly version.
What? What? Subtitles are unavailable? I want to see what they make of his accent. Dang. Oh no, I see a crying Jabus.
Yep. I think it was Purple said that the purpose of atheists is to make Jesus cry, so I had to make a crying Jesus.
dinosaurs didn't evolve into birds is simply that
Whoa, okay.
animals
then.
reproduce after their own kind. Now, the next reason we know that dinosaurs didn't evolve into birds is that we have fossils of birds that people have dated right at between 150 and 100 million years ago. Now, those dating methods have problems, but when
He wants to
Can't
rely on the
rail
dating
against
methods.
dating
when,
methods and then appeal to them.
No hypocrisy here, folks.
And like again,
Ta-da!
a specific group of dinosaurs became birds, and they might have done it more than once. Dinosaurs appear to have evolved flight at least 3 different times, completely independently of each other. Like, it's not a contradiction. Not every dinosaur became a bird. Also, we have a Beamsy.
But every bird is a dinosaur.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Hello, Beamsy. Would you like some Moxie?
Benji.
I might bring it back up again later in the conversation.
Okay. But I mean, also I do say that watch us eventually find out somehow that one random species of bird on one random island is actually a pterosaur.
It couldn't be because pterosaurs were actually reptiles, not dinosaurs.
Well, dinosaurs were reptiles too. And
They
mean,
were
actually,
therapsids, but they weren't. That's getting very weird.
wait, did you say therapsids?
Yeah.
I don't think dinosaurs are therapsids.
Am I getting them mixed up again?
Yeah, therapsids are on the mammal line.
Diapsids.
Oh yeah, they
Yeah,
are
diapsids.
Diapsids.
Pterosaurs are actually the closest group to Dinosauria. They're part of the same group, apart from other archosaurs. They were warm-blooded. They had full coatings of feathers. Yeah. Honestly, it is sort of surprising that, as far as we know, no pterosaurs survived the KT mass extinction. The only real reason I can think for that is it appears most small pterosaurs were outcompeted by birds, but not all of them. It's interesting.
Why is your pausing skills so good?
Look, I
Special
think it's
skills.
just Kyle.
I told you, he's like made of screenshots.
Well, considering with his surname, we can see where the family resemblance comes from.
Oh. Look, if that part of you looks like that, I think you might need to see a doctor.
I mean, he's the one saying that, a child can't evolve beyond their parents. They have to follow the same kind. And that name came from somewhere.
Well, considering the fact thing when you start off as a blastophore.
Yeah. The first hole to develop is, yeah.
And some of us never get past that point.
But look, maybe Kyle's a protostome. Maybe he's the exception.
when you look at where that's positioned in the timeline of dinosaurs, you realize that's right in the middle of the dinosaur era, according.
Right where we'd expect a new group to appear.
Weird, right?
What a coinky-dink.
to these people who are dating dinosaurs at 220 million years ago and them dying out 65 million years ago. What I'm saying simply is that we had real, fully functional birds alive at the time of dinosaurs. And so dinosaurs couldn't have evolved in.
Sorry?
They should have been half functional. I mean, is Archaeopteryx what you could consider a half functional bird? It's a glider.
I mean, like, the funny thing is, we do have half functional birds. I'm one of them.
There are
But- 'cause it
half-functional
turns
birds
out-
today.
It
Penguins
turns out
can
wings can be
fly
used
through
for
the
more than
water,
flight.
but yeah.
Yeah, ostriches, emus, yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's true.
Yeah.
The oldest bird fossils they find are actually somewhere in the region of 120 million years old.
No, we have some older. Archaeopteryx, which, if you consider it a bird, is 145 million, I want to say.
That's why I'm saying when it says fully functional birds, as in the ones that we would associate with being birds, as in without the stiff tail and with a beak instead of teeth, that's about 120.
But I can't. Is it Anchiornis? Want to say Anchiornis is Anchiornis is older, up to 168 million years.
A
And
wild
that is, for
Jackson
all
Road has
intents and
appeared
purposes,
with a possible
bird.
answer.
If you read into that, they say that that's a possible first evolution, and then they evolved again later. But again,
flying dinosaurs appear to have evolved at least 3 times, and possibly more.
well, one was like a bat, so that would have been interesting.
Yeah, the Scansoriopterids.
So they're sort of like crabs. Like ocean stuff
They
keeps
are
turning into
inevitable.
crabs. Yeah. Well, hey,
I'm
that
sorry.
gives me hope for the future. Maybe someday I'll be a bird instead of being a crab. Because until now,
But
it seemed
hey.
like my destiny was to be a crab.
As soon as you
But
said
hey,
that,
I
Amber,
mean,
I just thought when you're saying that everything's like crabs, as in you can't get rid of them.
It's true. You need a 6-mile sized dose of anti whatever the fuck to cure crabs.
But,
Even then,
yeah,
it didn't cure the crabs. They survived that extinction event.
Just I could call this like a half-formed bird or a ground hawk. Like, we have them, Kyle. We had them to the very end because it was very successful.
Yeah, we had flappy dinosaurs many times.
Mm-hmm.
Oh dear.
Into birds if we had birds living at the same time as dinosaurs. So, number one, the law of biogenesis says that there's no possible way dinosaurs could have evolved into birds. Number two, we have birds at the same time as dinosaurs in the fossil record, so they couldn't have evolved into them since birds were already alive. And number three, we have the historical biblical record.
There we go.
So the question with people like Kyle is he deliberately lying or just stupid? I think this video clearly demonstrates why not both.
Yeah. Also, dying flinosaurs evolved first, but they mostly plunged to their deaths. Clever, Purple. Clever.
At least they left an impact.
Oh, hey, we know of at least one. We went over one of them in my dino tier list. Panty-Draco appears to have fallen to its death.
Whoops.
I'm not going to say what I'm thinking in there. We don't want it to get too flagged.
We're gonna get demonetized.
Oh, dear.
You mean we? We're on somebody else's. We aren't doing.
Hey,
anything.
I'm not monetized anyway.
Yeah, never will be
Mhm.
either.
But
Not if we
yeah,
have anything to say about it.
but let's see, Beamsy, how do you say that again?
Paddy Fion.
Yeah. small dinosaur that appears to have fallen into a ravine and gotten fossilized.
So it doesn't actually mean underwear dragon?
It means the dragon from
Pantheon.
Pantiphion.
A likely story.
No, they just looked at it and just go, every time panties drop, it just ends it with a big bang. So what do you expect?
Oh, and
I think
sorry,
these
I forgot. It's
archaeologists-
well, its species name is Caducus, meaning fallen. So it is the fallen dragon of Pantiphion.
It is
I
the
just
dropped
think
panty dragon.
I just think that
Yes,
paleontologists
yes, it is.
on,
Yes, it is. Jeez. You know, okay, when was it named? Okay, it was named in 2003, so probably not. That's probably not what was intended, but yeah.
Oh, you know it's exactly what was intended, and this whole thing about the name of the ravine was just a cover story. So they didn't get flagged by their version of YouTube.
Well, I think I'm gonna take off, guys, and get ready for this thing. But thanks for having me on. Really, a lot of fun.
Have fun.
Yeah, we'll do. Not a problem.
Are you streaming it anywhere, or is this going to be like a later upload?
No, not really. I think that's just going to be sort of a room rumble, and I generally don't sort of get people into room rumbles. I generally just go by myself because, or else I feel like I'm just dumping people on some.
Oh no, I was just meaning, can people go and watch it, or
no, I'll upload it as soon as I can. But I've got a few others to upload, kind of thing. Which I'll do one. I'll try to do one this afternoon. I've been avoiding putting one up because it's so cringe, and it's so like, I think I got love bombed, and it's just so cringe. I've been avoiding it, but I'll try to put that up this afternoon and have something for people. But thank you so much. It was a blast. I had fun.
I didn't think you recorded our conversation.
What conversation? Oh, right. Yeah, no, that's look, everything Beamsy is cringe. It doesn't mean everything cringe is Beamsy. Okay.
Oh dear.
Anyway, take care, my friends, and I'll see you later.
Later, Mark.
There's got to be at least 3 damn it Beamsies every episode. So what do you expect?
We've already had at least 2. Actually, wait. I think the fallen pant. Yeah, I think we've hit 3 at least.
Sure.
That's it. I think we're gonna make it to the end of this, and then I need a little bio break.
That shows that in the beginning of creation, God on day 5 created birds and fish, but in our discussion, we're looking specifically at birds, and so God creates birds on day 5. On what day did he create dinosaurs? Well, dinosaurs, by definition, are land-living animals, and so he would have created them on day 6. So if God created birds on day 5...
What about ostriches,
what about
Kyle?
the ground birds?
And why do we find lots and lots of fish by themselves and nothing else?
Here. What day were terror birds made on, Kyle? When did God make terror birds?
And what about penguins? Do they count as birds, land critters, or ocean critters? What the fuck? What do you do with them?
What about otters? What about what about hippos? Like crocodiles? Come on, man.
And dinosaurs on day 6. Well, there's no possible way that dinosaurs could have evolved into birds because birds were created before dinosaurs. The fact of the matter is dinosaurs were...
Or your book is wrong. I mean, I know we never want to consider that, but maybe that's the case. Go back to the previous video about assumptions.
I'm sorry, that poor dinosaur. Oh, that is horrific.
It looks like a Brachiosaurus, but I don't know what sort of Brachiosaurus.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be a Brachiosaurus, but oh, that might be the ugliest one I've ever seen.
Well, that's most definitely not a Brachiosaurus, but it is a Brachiosaur, yeah. But
Like a Brachiosaurid. I don't know. It's the most famous one. It's probably meant to be one. It just sucks.
We're always dinosaurs. And birds have always been birds. Dinosaurs didn't evolve into birds, and birds haven't evolved into anything else and will not evolve into anything else because there was a simple command that God gave all living creatures during that creation week. He told every living creature to be fruitful and multiply after their own kind. And
So
that's
if your
exactly
child
what
evolves, you're
evolved.
disobeying God.
Uh-huh. And I'm gonna skip out on the last few seconds of him preaching, but
Yeah, that's fair.
yeah. So I'm gonna go do a quick bio break. Feel free to do the same, folks. We resume in a couple of minutes. See you then.
and I'm going to ruin everything for everyone.
Hooray!
Beamsy, I can mute you.
I'll behave
All right, so I guess we're doing an intermission then.
for now. Yeah, the Brachiosaurus that they're thinking of is the Allosaurus. That's the most famous one, and it most definitely didn't have a penis for a head. So as to what one that was, I am really not sure. Unless it's just really, really badly done.
Okay, and I'm back. And like I said, pretty sure it's supposed to be a Brachiosaurus.
But it's most definitely not the most famous one, the Allothorax.
So Brachiosaurus altithorax is just a species of Brachiosaurus.
That's why I was wondering which one it was, because the Allothorax has a nice smooth head and not a penis projection.
Yeah, that. So that I forget the name of the group. No, it's no, Brachiosaurus is a macronarian, which is just means like large nose holes, basically.
If it was up to me, if I found one like that, I would call it the Brachiosaurus montius pythons.
Yeah, okay, so Brachiosaurids. Looking at a few of them, the ones we have skulls for, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is just a really crap Brachiosaurus. Because, yeah, that nose is all kinds wrong in just about every way you could do it. Probably didn't have spikes like that. Probably wasn't purple. There's a lot of issues.
It's not like we can tell the cloaker of every dinosaur.
Yeah, not every dinosaur. Still, if you want spikes like that, you want a diplodocoid. Thing is, the teeth don't look horrible. Because actual Brachiosaurus teeth are weird. They're like big spoons.
I thought they were more like pegs.
That's Diplodocoids. So that's the long-necked, long-tailed, short sauropods.
No, they've still got the peggy ones.
Well, so there's some variation, but in general, Brachiosaurids have these more spoon-shaped teeth. Like top row is from the front, from the side, and then from the back. The Docoid teeth are they really are just pegs. Here's some from Diplodocus itself. I'm not entirely sure why there's the difference, but there is a difference. And I see you found that looks like a Brachiosaurus skull. Well, looks a little off, but it's passable. And it looks like it does have the spoon-shaped teeth.
I would still describe them as more peg, but yeah.
Yeah, it's. How do I describe it?
Well, that's a cast of USNM 5730. So it's an actual cast.
Okay. Interesting. And yeah, just looking at this, like you can see why they have the name, or why the group has the name Macronarians. Like this is the nose hole up here. I would have been back here, but interestingly enough, we are somewhat certain that the nostrils should actually be near the tip of the snout. Because that's how it is in basically every animal, and there are depressions in the skull that point to that probably being the case.
It's more like that nightmare fuel.
Oh dear. Probably not quite like that. There was a trunk hypothesis for a while, and yeah, Bree sent a similar image to me. Oh, actually found a pretty nice one. Probably more like this. That's actually a nice drawing. Artist The Paint Paddock, or Charles Nye. Neat. Oh yeah, Margosaurus. Margosaurus is weird. I'm not sure what the current consensus is on how its neck should be fleshed out. I think the current consensus is like half spined, but I could be wrong.
I wonder why they would have such an unusual nasal canal.
I mean, most simple hypothetical reason would be reduced weight in the skull, but not sure. A lot of derived sauropods seem to have a lot of weight reducing adaptations. But yeah, this is a Margosaurus. We're still not entirely sure how its neck horns would have been covered. Oh no, a new image. Yeah, that's not a bad reconstruction. But yeah, like a brachiosaurus's head. If I can, it's bigger than a buffalo's head. It's huge. See if I can find an image next to somebody. But yeah, it is probably like about the size of your torso. And they had to hold that up like 30, 40 feet in the air. Yeah, you know what? Oh, no, never mind. Found an actual image. Here we go. So imagine that head up on a telephone pole of a neck. Oh dear, I remember this image. Spinosaurus. What if the spine was a hump of a buffalo? To go yeet. A lot of reasons why this is not possible. A lot of reasons.
Well, firstly, it's not called the Utasaurus.
What was that?
Well, the first reason is not called the Utasaurus.
Well, I mean, yes, but also just they're not muscle attachment points. Like with a bison, they're robust and strong. Spinosauruses are they're probably thinner than your hand. Like the width of your hand. Like if you set it on the table, how high up it goes. Thinner than that. Like 2 centimeters thick at the widest, I think. And also Bree sent a hypothetical reconstruction for a Diplodocus face. Jeez.
Snoots.
Anywho, the Ember is back, so we can continue to dinosaurs, separating fact from fiction. Unexpected, but that works.
Now I'm regretting the tattoo I got.
Huh?
What tattoo did you get?
Oh, my ass cheeks. One is called church and the other one's called state. So that way I can keep church and state separated.
That's fair.
I wish it was now fact and fiction.
Aha.
Have you ever heard the phrase, it is easier to...
Oh, yeah, also, not Kyle. I don't know this person.
What?
That said, I don't think he'll be any more accurate.
believe a lie that one has heard 1,000 times than to believe a fact that one has never heard before. Undoubtedly, millions or billions of people have heard their entire lives that dinosaurs evolved and then went extinct millions of years ago, tens of millions of years before humans evolved. Such purportedly factual teachings are then often accompanied by captivating illustrations of all sorts of dinosaurs, but never with any human beings.
Well,
as we've been told thousands or millions.
Yeah, unless they're used for a size comparison, usually. Also, is it just me or is he louder than Kyle was?
Slightly, yeah. He knows how to speak up. He's got the same background, though, so that's fun. But
Yeah.
if the dinosaur conspiracy is alleging that dinos went extinct tens of millions of years before humans, there wouldn't be any humans in the conspiracy propaganda material, would there?
And
Yep,
that's
I mean-
Eric Lyons.
Does he lie a lot? I feel like he's going to lie a lot.
So Kyle's a butt. Eric is lions. This nominative determinism is getting a little out of hand with these guys.
And also, yeah, the animation for that T-Rex was a bit weird, but I just kind of went with it. It's fine.
Well, at least he's actually got a university degree.
Oh, really? What in?
Biblical history.
Oh, so he doesn't have a degree.
Millions of times, human beings never lived with dinosaurs. And if you believe otherwise, you're crazy. I suppose more than any other question that Apologetics Press tackles, we get more criticism from atheists, evolutionists, and even many.
Okay, sorry. Just watching him, he is really like purposefully controlling his facial expressions. Like he is working his face out to do this.
He took an acting class.
Maybe. I mean, if he did, he didn't pay too much attention because it's pretty obvious if you see people talk a lot. He's forcing his expressions pretty hard. You want them to be more natural.
Many Christians regarding our material on dinosaurs, especially when that material is illustrated. The impression I've gotten from some through the years is, how dare you talk about God creating these animals with human beings thousands and not millions of years ago? Don't you know that these animals prove evolution to be true?
Wow.
That is a pretty biased impression.
Does anyone know anyone that would actually confront someone like that? Because
I
don't.
know this. They're taking the things that didn't happen and they're just like creating their own category with it.
Well, I mean, actually, I do know people who would. Angry Karens at church.
Yeah, but I don't know anyone that would actually go, "How dare you!" It would be, no, we have a good understanding of the way these works. This is how we know it was done this and not this. Not, how dare you!
Yeah, but like, I don't know any normal people who would talk like that. But I do know people who would talk like that, and they're probably in the same circles as he is. So that might
Don't
be
you
informing his
know
thinking a bit.
that Cat Jesus proves evolution to be true?
I mean, that's a good argument, Ember. But what about Raptor Jesus on a cross?
No, Cat Jesus is there to prove that the world is not flat.
Yes.
Then there have been those puzzling times when Christians have been in full agreement that God indeed created dinosaurs and dinosaur-like aerial and aquatic creatures on days 5 and 6 of creation. And yet the moment we show an illustration of what that may have looked like, some think we've gone mad. The conversation goes something like this. You can't show a picture of a dinosaur along with a human being. Wait, I thought you said you believe that God made dinosaurs during the same creation week in which he made elephants, alligators, and human beings. I do believe that, but such illustrations look crazy. Why do they look crazy? I've just never seen anything like that. Plus, you don't just show humans and dinosaurs in the same picture, you show them close together. You sometimes show people killing them or even taming.
Okay, I could be wrong. This looks like it's from Dinotopia.
Maybe. I don't know.
The whole premise is dinosaurs survived on an isolated island.
Yeah, that is Dinotopia's artwork.
I based that on the building in the background. Also, Purple brings it up. They're not waiting for the rapture, it's the raptor.
Oh, that reminds me of the old Mayan apocalypse story, which is when the end comes, it will come in one of four ways: fire, flood, earthquake, or jaguars.
Oh,
Yeah, maybe it'll be raptors. Maybe they were close. I mean, in that they're predatory animals anyway.
I do admit the
Well,
artwork in Dinotopia was very good.
oh yeah, it's outdated now, of course, but it's fun art. It's good art. From what I've seen, I've only seen a little bit of it, but what I've seen is good. That said, like all these quotes, like you're not attributing them to anyone. This is your take on what you think the discussion. Like these are worthless quotes. Come on.
Taming them. That surely never happened. Why do you think that? They were terrifying creatures that humans couldn't have gotten close to.
Okay, one, I think another Dinotopia image. Second, why would we use that as an argument? People have tamed elephants and attempted to tame rhinoceros and other animals. Like, people have tamed alligators.
Not very well, but yes.
Tame in a broad sense, but yeah.
What makes you think that?
Sorry, maybe not tame. Trained. We have trained alligators.
That
we
would
could
be
train
a
a
better word.
dinosaur. You could easily train a dinosaur.
Everything I've ever read and watched. I would like to ask you to consider two things. First, remember that it's easier to believe a lie that you've heard 1,000 times than the truth that you've only heard once. And second, ask yourself,
Citation needed.
what should we believe and teach? And what kind of artwork should we use to illustrate biblical and historical truth given the following evidence?
Well,
First,
do you want to illustrate
omnipotent-
biblical truth or historical truth? Because you can't do both.
How about just truth? Can we not attach a prefix to it?
Well, that rules out the Bible, and that means you're like discriminating or something. Because rar, my fifis.
Okay, let's go to India. Are you gonna complain the same that I don't incorporate Hindu texts? Come on.
Omniscient God exists. If a person doesn't believe this most important foundational truth, talking about the subject of dinosaurs and humans will likely be unproductive. If a person comes to believe in God based upon the evidence for his existence, as we discuss in many other videos,
Show me some,
he should
bitch.
consider that Almighty God.
Wait, sorry, I was distracted for a second. What did he say?
If they don't believe in yada yada evidence of God in other videos, it's always another video. Yeah, the princess is in another castle. Oh, there's evidence. Trust me, bro. It's just another video. You haven't seen it.
Wait.
She lives in Canada. I mean, it's on another channel.
Wait. He keeps going on about a lie you hear 1,000 times, and then he right after says, "Go watch our other videos."
Mm-hmm. Here, let
that's
me
perfect.
let me lie to you some more. It's fun.
That is perfect.
Oh, Dr. T has appeared. Everyone, praise the weasel.
I still
With
like how
a
his grandfather made the anti-gravity machine.
Oh, there. Oh, and also, Bree wants me to share this. The true picture of a T-Rex, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
I
It's-
love the ball of fluff up here, but this still hurts my soul.
I mean, it's accurate. You can't deny it.
I can't, though.
would have the power to create dinosaurs alongside human beings during the creation week, if he so chose.
Is there just an extra space right there?
Could be occurring. I don't know. I'm distracted trying to think of how long the feathers would have to be on the T-Rex to make it that fluffy. Like, that's a good meter long feather on its chest, you know.
Yeah, a little bit. Just a little bit obscenely floofy.
Second, the Bible is the Word of God. If a person doesn't believe this second foundational truth, a discussion of dinosaurs might be somewhat beneficial if the unbeliever could be shown that the biblical account of creation doesn't contradict true history and science. But
But it does a lot.
Demonstrably so. And that's a fun thing. Like, Mr. Lyons here, he likes to make a lot of claims, but he can't demonstrate anything. But the people who, say what he calls lies can demonstrate things. So, I don't know.
I mean, granted, we're only 3 minutes and 33 seconds in. But so far he said, okay, I have this claim, and the evidence... Oh, okay, that happened.
We're halfway to evil.
And the evidence for this claim is these other claims. Go watch my other videos to understand these other claims.
Unbeliever would likely be much better served if he were first presented with the evidence for the inspiration of the Bible, which we also discuss in many other videos. Third, the Bible indicates that God made everything in 6 days, including all animals and humans. According to Exodus 20:11, in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them. This statement harmonizes perfectly with Genesis 1 and everything else in Scripture. The all-powerful God of the universe could have created the universe in any way he desired, in whatever order he wanted, and in whatever time frame he chose. He could have created the world and everything in it in 6 billion years, 6 minutes, or in 1 millisecond. He is, after all, God Almighty. But the question is not what God could have done, it is what he said he did. And he said that he created everything in 6 days. According to the inerrant, inspired word of God, the Creator made dinosaurs and humans on the same day of creation.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, so, okay, cool. It's inerrant. Awesome. So, Genesis chapter 1. God creates animals and then creates Adam and then asks Adam to name the animals and decide which one he wants to mate with. He doesn't find any of them suitable, apparently after testing them out. And so he puts Adam to sleep, removes part of his side, and creates Eve. But in Genesis 2, he creates Adam and Eve at the same time, and then creates all the animals.
In the case of when Adam and Lilith are created at the same time, and then Lilith flees to God, and that's why he has to make Eve.
That's a different... There's many different versions, but that's a different version. I'm talking like NIV, KJV, that sort of stuff, where Lilith doesn't get a mention.
Where she's been excommunicated.
Right.
Also, Beamsy, the video you just sent, that's what we started out with. That was the first video tonight.
I am so glad.
I figured we should start with the basics. Before getting into the truth.
I'm looking at some of their videos, and it's just... Why?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Like, where did Cain get his wife?
So that's a fun thing that has to do with other Bible versions too. As you know, many of the versions will change things around a bit. Like a lot of them talk about in Exodus how there's other gods that Yahweh is jealous of and whatnot. But the creation was all Yahweh, except it wasn't. In older versions of the Old Testament, it talks about how the gods together, all the Elohim, El and Baal and Asherah and Yahweh and the others, created the earth, and then Yahweh went off by himself to go create his own little private garden. And in that version of Genesis, after the fall and Adam and Eve go out and Cain and Abel happens, Seth is born, etc., it expressly says the sons of Adam and Eve went to find their wives among the children of the other people. There were other people who didn't have original sin because they weren't created by jackass Yahweh.
Mm-hmm.
Naturally, we can't have that in the modern Bibles.
Yeah, it might be a little problematic.
Because if you don't have original sin, you don't need Jesus.
So wait, if my dad had original sin, but my mom didn't, do I have like half a sin? Or like how does that shake out?
I don't know. I think, well, in Jewish society, well, now I'm not entirely sure because I know there's parts of Jewish society that are patriarchal, but also parts that are matriarchal. Like lines of descent tend to be through the mother in some groups. So I suppose it would depend on which parent had the sin and which group you're a member of to determine whether it's inherited or not.
I've just found a video that will trigger Brie.
Oh no, is it that bad?
Well, it involves bugs.
Oh no. Wonders of creation, lightning bugs.
Ooh.
Here, Bree, do you want Beamsy to send that to you, or do you not want to have an aneurysm?
And there's one for the honeybee, too.
Oh no, Bree has to do that one. Oh no.
Have you actually gone through all their videos? They've got pages of them.
I haven't gone through all of them because, like, like you said, I saw tons of them, and I kind of gave up after I found 4 that could work for tonight. I know they have tons. They've been doing this for years. Yeah, they talk about flying snakes, a bunch of different animals.
Well, I put a link to their website in the chat there, so you can actually open that up and just go to videos.
Oh, wait, I missed one about dinosaur soft tissue and evolution's timetable. How did I miss that? Okay, we'll see how we're feeling after the 4th video. We might do a 5th tonight. It's only 5 minutes long.
Bonus content.
Did you find one on dating? Oh, do canyons prove an old Earth?
No, that one.
Do we find human and dinosaur fossils together?
Oh, Beamsy, that's video number 4 tonight.
Oh, good. We're in luck. We're all set then.
I was looking at the canyon one, then I saw that one, and it's just
Oh wow, they have a series on the biblical flood. Oh no. Wait, was Jesus disrespectful to his mother? That's an actual video. Oh, sweet Jeebus.
Hey, Dino, you all right?
I think I'm dead.
I guess you didn't get the reference.
Oh, actually,
I did not, sadly.
Hey, Vegeta,
Strawberry
you all right?
Jesus is the sweeter Jeebus.
Oh. Wow, I didn't think you were that stupid, Vegeta. Oh wait, I skipped a line. Crap.
Just an aneurysm out of sheer stupidity.
Wow, I didn't think you were that stupid. Yep. DBZA is magical.
Indeed, at one time in history, they lived on Earth at the same time. Fourth, the biblical truth that dinosaurs and humans once lived together is supported by history. Even evolutionists have admitted that people
Cool,
all
prove
over the
it.
world throughout history talked about seeing reptilian creatures with scaly.
No. Sorry, he's no longer
Dude,
preaching. I'm
we-
gonna slow down to normal.
We had legends. We had all kinds of fun legends. We had legends about fucking giant lizards that flew and breathed fire. Does that mean they must have been real since someone told stories about them once? In fact, more cultures have legends about dragons than have flood myths. So dragons are clearly real.
Hmm. I mean, what kind of dinosaur is Quetzalcoatl? I'd love to know that.
Oh god, not
Really
mud fossil
hard,
again.
elongated
Oh, sorry, what?
Not mud fossil again.
bodies, long serpentine necks, long tails, horn, knobby, or crested heads, some with bat-like wings, and some that went on 2 legs, while others on 4. Although undoubtedly many of these dragon stories were exaggerated through the centuries, just as our adrenaline rushing fishing or hunting stories are often
Just like the
exaggerated.
flood story was
These
exaggerated.
descriptions of dragons sound like dinosaurs or dinosaurs.
Oh, they
Hey,
sound
look-
like. It looks like a maple. I really need to make that a meme. I say that all the fucking time.
You need to. You do. I'm surprised you haven't already.
Well, I already made it a t-shirt. I guess I thought making it a meme would be overkill.
I wonder if they've ever heard of Megalania, because they are alive with people.
Yeah. Oh, and also the classic wyvern versus dragon debate.
Yeah. Yeah. Show me the hippogriffs, not Kyle.
No, just try playing the Monster Hunter series. You'll learn that wyvern applies to a lot of things. But Monster Hunter is also magical. It's fantastic. Actually, there is one I do kind of want to show just because it's extra ridiculous. In Monster Hunter, this is a type of wyvern.
Right.
It's a fanged wyvern.
Okay, then.
Monster Hunter's fun. It really is. Oh, they also have some dinosaurs. Here we go. These are bird wyverns. Monster Hunter is weird, okay?
Yep.
Dinosaur-like reptilian creatures. But modern man only began learning about dinosaurs from the fossil record in the past 200 years. How could so many people from all over the world throughout history have so accurately described seeing animals?
They were not accurate to our modern understanding of dinosaurs. Nowhere near accurate in most cases.
That sound like dinosaurs if they never actually did see them. The truth is, biblical history, including the existence of Leviathan and the days of Job, chapter 41, is in perfect harmony with what history has recorded. Fifth, the biblical truth that dinosaurs.
He just says that. Just says that and moves on. Really?
Yep. That's all there is. We don't need to substantiate or anything.
Dinosaurs and humans once lived together is supported by physical evidence. Not only did people talk about seeing dinosaurs and dinosaur-like creatures, referred to as dragons, for thousands of years, keep in mind that the word dinosaur was not coined until the early 1840s. They also illustrated these animals in drawings.
Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Boy. So, yeah, possibly. I forget the story behind this specific image. Part of me wants to say it is a fake, though. I could be wrong. But it's not a dinosaur. It's not a dinosaur.
And carvings found all over the world. How could they have illustrated?
That's a rhino. We're pretty dang sure that's a rhino. Because that is a leaf motif going on behind it. That is in other pictures in that temple.
Illustrated such animals thousands of years before modern man ever learned about,
again, not a dinosaur.
These creatures from the fossil record. Once again, the evidence supports the biblical truth that God made everything, including dinosaurs and humans, in 6 days. Sixth, dinosaur bones have been discovered with soft tissue in them. In the last several years, numerous scientists have reported.
Yeah, I want to see what he says about it. Just see if it's any different from the stuff we've already covered, because we have already covered it.
Unearthing a variety of dinosaur bones from around the world that contain intact protein fragments, including collagen, hemoglobin, elastin, and laminin. Such findings fit perfectly.
Intact protein fragments. They're fragments, but they're intact fragments.
God damn it. God damn it. Learn what words mean before word use.
So we're going back to the Princess Bride?
Inconceivable.
It's very fitting for a lot of scenarios. Very fitting.
That word you
And
use,
yes,
I do not think you know what it means.
Just Mary Schweitzer, a devout Christian woman, hates these young Earth creationists.
She should sue them because these fuckers have a lot of money. She should definitely sue them.
Well, according to the
I
university
don't know
website,
if she has enough money to do that.
Yeah, well, according to the university website which they went to, it only cost them 20 grand to get their bachelor's hood.
20 grand for a bachelor's? What university did they go to?
Freed-Hartman.
I don't know where that is. Well, then again, I guess it depends on how many...
Henson.
It can depend on a lot of things. Because, I mean, technically... So, thanks to, frankly, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity from the government for whatever reason, I managed to get my degree for like $4,000. But that was a combination of absurdly lucky things.
Yeah, well, have a look at that link and have a look at the 3 things that they put as important.
FHUEDU.
Sorry, Tapioca, if you're still in the chat, how do these acceptance rates look to you?
Look at the 5th from the bottom as well.
Why?
They're grad school graduate acceptance rates, but what's that 5th from the bottom say?
Why do the bottom 3 not have a percentage? Why the
Oh,
bottom
no,
three on your
I just like
list
the-
not. There's no rate.
because they don't. They're NA
Wait,
and whatnot.
okay.
Juris
Some
Doctorate?
of
Are you
these.
fucking kidding me?
Wait, yeah, you're right. Nurse, like, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Just occupational.
7.
I enjoy that one. And a graduate. I'm a graduate of graduate. That's my major. Graduate.
That's what I had to
Holy
point out. It was
shit.
just
This is a horrific list. Yeah, okay, Tapioca's here. Tapioca, first, how does this look as a figure? Second, how do these acceptance rates look? This is horrifying.
what is a graduate of chiropractic?
It's when you go to chiropractic graduate school, which is where they teach you the advanced stuff, like, acupuncture or whatever,
Now,
and
now
how
you
many circussions to put in your water.
Now you see, you guys are reading it wrong. It's chiropractic law.
Yes.
Doctorate.
Yeah, I
But then
wonder
they've-
what that second 100% is. If it's law, juris doctorate, why are there two 100% next to it? What's the other one supposed to go to?
It goes nursing is 100.
Oh, they just didn't align shit right.
No.
The juris doctorate
This
is
is
2 lines, so
awful.
they should skip a line, so everything moves down one. Same thing with physician's assistant and pharmacy graduate.
And
So there should be
occupational
3 gaps. Okay,
Right,
4
but-
gaps.
No wonder they don't have a graduate course for graphic design. God damn.
Yeah,
fine for me. It's probably the browser you're looking at through.
Well. Oh, yeah, okay. If I zoom out, it's okay. Okay.
Oh, that was a well. In fairness to you, they should check their code on multiple devices to make sure it displays properly on everything, not just what they're coding with. So that's
Yeah,
sloppy coding, but still.
Okay. So, if it's from 90 to 110%, it's crap. Any other, it seems to be okay. Why?
And what do we mean by graduate schools? Are we talking like Biola?
Sweet frickin' Jesus.
This is the sweetest Jesus I got.
But that's the thing. They have academic excellence, then family, then Christianity.
Oh, that shouldn't be up there.
No, the last two should not be really there in any sort of academic environment, but
No. Oh, academic success. Oh no, that's a department. Never mind. I was gonna say, like, what is your graduation rate?
58%.
I mean, that's not horrible, but
Henderson, Tennessee.
oh dear. So in other words, we know these people are trustworthy. Just has a not degree from a. I'm just gonna say a not university.
Perfectly with the creation model that God created dinosaurs and humans not millions of years ago, but thousands of years ago on the same day of creation.
Again, why is this not the norm if they are that young?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If they are that young,
why are
that
there
should
even
be the
fossils?
norm. And also, we shouldn't be seeing less of it the farther we go back in time. if all the rock layers formed at the same time and all the fossils formed at the same time, they should all have roughly equivalent amounts of collagen, but uniformly, as we go back in time, we find less and less. I know this firsthand because I've worked with ground sloth bones from about 11,000 to 20,000 years ago. And in each of the samples, the older they were, the less collagen we could find to sample.
Lastly, human beings have interacted with all sorts of animals throughout history. So why is it so hard to believe that they also interacted with dinosaurs? Draw a picture of a small
Did we
man
interact with
riding
trilobites?
Where are our pet dimetrodons?
Yeah, I mean, hell, I want to see the circus with a saber-toothed tiger tamer. That'd be pretty cool.
a 15,000-pound elephant, and no one has a problem with it. Publish a photograph of a trainer sticking her head inside the mouth of a massive 6,000-pound killer whale in captivity, and most everyone today understands the reality of the situation, however so dangerous.
Yeah, it shouldn't be there, but okay.
Interesting fact, the only time a killer whale has ever killed someone is when it's in captivity.
At least that we have on record, yeah.
I've heard they'll fuck up your boat, though, if you piss them off.
Mm-hmm. Or they'll play with it.
Ooh, it's a toy with cute little mammals on board.
Tell your friend about the man at the circus who has tamed lions, tigers, and bears, or that you watched a TV show of a man playing with crocodiles. And that's nothing but old news. After all, Jesus' brother James wrote 2,000 years ago what his readers knew all too well. Every kind of beast and bird, of reptile and creature of the sea, is tamed and has been tamed.
Have we tamed jellyfish?
Have we tamed seagulls? Because I tell you, those fuckers, they do what they want.
Well, have we really tamed cats?
That's an excellent point. I have yet to meet a cat that actually obeys. They kind of tolerate humans being in their houses.
So to Tapioca, real quick. So when I was talking about their like acceptance rates, like I would like most acceptance rates to be higher as well. However, most schools are more discerning, let's say. Like, I have never seen 100% acceptance rate for a program, let alone a grad school program.
It tells me that they're sending their undergrads off to diploma mills.
Yeah, because again, Tapioca, these are grad programs. Like, that's... I feel like those should be more discerning. Okay, yeah, okay, he agrees. Okay. Yeah, 100% is a fake number.
Aimed by mankind. Yet still, even many Christians have a problem with the ancients being pictured next to certain dinosaurs.
Okay, I'm sorry, that one was actually cute. That's a cute piece of art. Be nice if you credited it. I'm guessing it's Dinotopia again.
It is.
It's cute.
Should creationists and Christians refrain from publishing illustrations of dinosaurs and humans together because it makes us look crazy? On the contrary, since a picture is worth 1,000 words,
publishing
and
them
since
because you fucking stole them.
Yeah, you're not crediting them. You're just...
Oh, this one is credited. It's underneath the red bar.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. This one. How many of we left?
Yeah.
Like, people draw and make art all the time. Some of it's really cool. Like, I don't have a problem with you depicting people and dinosaurs together. I'm not a 2-year-old. Grow up.
And purple, they're not called cassowaries, they're called murder birds. That particular one isn't Dinotopia, though, Dandy. That's actually someone else's artwork. A Louis Lavo.
Still neat art. I
Oh yeah,
don't know what species this is supposed to be, but it's a neat idea. It looks like it's digging or maybe plowing or something.
Yeah, I reckon it's a variant Triceratops, but I like the way they put depth into the picture by like having that highlighted outline on the foreground objects, and then the background objects just don't have that. They're slightly fudged. That's very
like,
cool.
I don't know what to call this style, but I dig it. Oh, and you can see the tail is fading into the background too.
Yeah.
That's neat.
1,000 words upon which this picture is based are true and extremely relevant to the creation evolution debate. Dinosaurs.
I can almost guarantee you that the artist had no idea about said debate when they made this picture.
If
They
it's
probably had
true,
a fun idea and wanted to paint it, and I salute them for it.
for fuck's sake. Okay, so for the knowledge of that Triceratops to be advanced enough to get it so close to being correct, it has to be fairly recent-ish, like since post 1880 for sure.
Not sure I agree with it. It's a fantasy ceratopsian. I don't think it's actually supposed to be based on any particular species.
I don't know. I'm maybe I'll look up the artist. I mean, maybe it's not a Triceratops per se, but I mean, there's a lot that's like the person made an attempt to make it look like a viable dinosaur.
Yeah, they did. It's fun art. It's definitely fun art.
Yeah,
But
and
what was
also
the
the
name of
art
the artist
style,
again?
I would say. Lavoie, something like that.
Here, I can...
My point is, if this is true, and according to his logic from earlier, in order to get it so close to accurate, you have to have seen it in person. You didn't just get it from a description. Both of these things mean this should be a photograph rather than a drawing.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, he does cool art. I looked him up. Yeah, he has a category on his website just for dinosaurs. Oh, that like T-Rex on a cart thing. Apparently, he did that. That's not from Dinotopia. Neither is the Brachiosaurus, one that I said was really cute. Or wait, actually, I'm pretty. Yeah, I keep seeing a lot of art that we've seen in this video from him that I thought was from Dinotopia. Wait, why does this have apologetics? Wait.
Oh no.
Wait, is he an artist for them?
Yeah, I'm looking at a mosaic
one of his
of
pictures
Noah's
has
Ark.
apologetics press on it. Oh, that's sad. It's such good art.
It's weird how we found it at the same time.
Oh. I'm actually kind of sad now because I really dig some of this art a lot.
Oh wow, some of his things are huge. He did a mural. I'm trying to find one I can actually show you. They're all freaking Pinterest things that are never more than like 200 pixels across. But there's a person standing in front of it, and it's like a giant mural. It's cool.
Yeah. Like, wow. I mean, separate from the art from the artist, I guess. Does good stuff. Even if I'm not too happy about the people who pay him for it. Sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can appreciate the art, even if I don't appreciate where it comes from. Oh, well.
Is based are true and extremely relevant to the creation evolution debate. Dinosaurs are, after all, the poster children of evolution. then we believe it's very appropriate and important for people to hear and see this truth. For more information on the Bible, creation, and evolution,
Yeah, did he give us any actual evidence or anything in this video?
I don't think so.
I feel this was kind of just a nothing video.
Yeah, just making assertions. Although we did find a cool artist, which was kind of unexpected. So I can't make this like properly big so people can see, but this isn't just a mural. It's also a puzzle. You get all the animal pictures individually, and then you put it together to make the arc, and it's fucking huge.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know. I find it super impressive.
Sorry, looks like Tapioca wants to post a link. Here you go, Tapioca. I can give you temporary mod ship. There you go. Feel free to go ahead and post a link. I trust you.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you can. He's not going to post Pornhub.
I hope so. For now, though, so this was going to be the final video, but we might have another one after this, so let's not stretch it out too long.
Yeah, fair enough.
According to the Genesis account of creation,
we're back to the butt.
Humans were made on day 6, but also all land-living animals were created by God on that day, and dinosaurs are land-living animals. And so according to the story of creation in Genesis chapter 1, humans and dinosaurs would have been created on the very same day. We learn from other biblical references that those days were literal 24-hour periods, and humans weren't separated from dinosaurs by millions and millions of years, according to the biblical account.
Sorry, the cat just moved in a chair and woke himself up. I think he scared himself. Oh, dear.
But when we go to the physical evidence, the fossil record, we ask the simple question, if dinosaurs and humans lived together from the beginning of creation, do we find their fossils together? The answer to that
it's almost like reality is different from what the book says.
Yeah. Beamsy, you know stratigraphy. Do we ever find human and dinosaurs together?
Oh yes, most definitely.
Oh,
in fact,
well,
in the fairy tale books.
Yes, also, Aunt Jer, you do not want to know about Lemon Party. You don't.
No. Lemon Party bad. No.
Well, now I gotta Google something again.
It's like when people say your first anime should be Boku no Pico.
Oh no, don't, no.
Oh, I think I awoke some memories. Oh dear.
Are you trying to traumatize your audience?
I mean, it can be fun.
For the person sending, not receiving.
I mean, hey, they're sticking around. But yeah, just we don't find humans and dinosaurs together. They're separated by a pretty wide margin.
Fossils together in the fossil record. And some would then say, because we don't, then that proves that dinosaurs and humans have never been together.
Also, side note, if you were cleaning a fossil like this out in the field, you'd be kicked out. God damn.
I'm glad I wasn't the only one triggered.
Yeah, I know it's a stock video demonstration, but
look at the hands. That's a child. That's obviously a sandpit that they...
Is it?
Yeah, that's a child's hand.
I've seen adults with hands like that.
No, but look at the arm. That's a child's hand. That's obviously a playpen that they cover in sand with impressions of dinosaur bones in it.
I think it's just, I don't know, it could be. I think it's just stock video, but could be.
I have a feeling
Does
that I'm
the fact
correct.
that we don't
Okay, let's.
No, we don't find dinosaur and human fossils together in the fossil record. And
Okay, do those look like kid shoes? Yeah, they kind of do. Yeah, you might be right.
It's also the size of the brush,
I mean, brushes come in different sizes.
but the cheap ones are usually universal in size. They actually come in particular sizes. That looks like just your normal bristled one that you get from the hardware store.
Could be. But also, Dandy thinks you're suspect, Beamsy.
some would then say, because we don't, then that proves that dinosaurs and humans have never been together. Does the fact that we don't find dinosaur and human fossils together prove that humans and dinosaurs are separated by millions of years and never inhabited the earth together? No, it doesn't prove that at all. In fact, there are several very good reasons why we would not really even expect to find dinosaur and human fossils together.
Oh, we
The
wouldn't.
first reason that we
Well, that's fun.
Why? A global flood doesn't really discriminate bodies.
Also, it turns out when people say don't Google lemon party, you should listen to them.
Yeah. Like when I tell you to
For
Google it,
science.
you know. We tried to warn you.
we might not even expect to find that is when we look into the fossil record, animals that had backbones, vertebrates, make up a very small percentage.
Also, okay, this guy's brush technique, he's a bit more. I wouldn't rate him as bad as the child, but I would correct him if it were there.
Yeah, but have you heard of the unholy trinity, Ember?
Oh no!
I mean, I've heard a few things referred to that way.
It's the unholy trinity of internet pictures.
Oh no!
I'm listening.
Lemon Party, Goatsy, and Tub Girl.
Oh, these are all new things for me.
I have
Don't.
not heard the last one.
Don't.
I have not heard the last one.
Just no.
Now I'm curious, but this is technically my work computer, so
No,
I can't.
no, 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 no.
Oh dear.
Percentage of the fossils that we have. In fact, a
Wait, is it a girl who cuts her wrists in the tub?
No.
Okay, never mind then.
vast majority, a
Look at the
massive
definition.
amount of the fossils that we
Oh no.
Nope.
Urban
Nope.
Dictionary.
Nope. 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 Nope.
Oh, okay.
I had a friend, well, technically it was my friend's brother in high school, who enjoyed springing pictures like that on us when we were hanging out. He'd be like, "Oh my God, you have to see this." And then he'd just turn his phone around and we'd be like, "You motherfucker."
Yeah, I've heard of worse, but okay. Also, though, I think we're actually seeing some proper hand lens technique
What?
here. Or at least more proper.
we find are of invertebrates, animals that didn't have backbones at all. And then another large portion of the fossils that we uncover are fossils of fish or other things that lived in the ocean. And so, as you ask the question, we've got all of these fossils. Do we have a whole lot of fossils of vertebrates, animals with backbones? The answer to that is they make up a small percentage of the fossil record. And so, when we're looking at dinosaurs,
I mean, a small percentage, yes. Invertebrates in general reproduce a lot more than vertebrates.
Oh
And,
yeah, the insects outnumber us tremendously.
I mean, like, not just that, but like, a lot of invertebrates have hard outer shells. Like, think of coral or clams. They're not going to degrade very easily.
Clams.
Well,
Bone
Ember?
can be a bit less stable.
Do you like actually going through stuff like that?
What, clams?
No, as in the stuff from the Urban Dictionary and stuff.
Oh, and I mean, when something comes to my attention, but I don't really like go scrolling or anything.
Have you heard of the Run the Gauntlet challenge?
It rings a bell.
Oh, dear.
Dino, don't click it.
Oh, Dino, click it.
Don't click it.
Oh my.
Oh, Dino, close it.
Oh, I can disable ads.
Oh, jeez. Also, we found another thumbnail face. Oh, we're crying out loud, but
dinosaurs and humans, both of those would be in the category of having a backbone, of course. And so they would be a very small percentage of the fossils that we find. And the second aspect of this discussion is that it's very rare for anything to fossilize at all. You see, many things die and they don't ever form a fossil. There are some very specific things that have to be in place in order for something to fossilize. It has to die and be buried very quickly in a particular environment, and that environment
can be. It's not always that specific, Kyle. Especially like, let's say you have a reef scenario, be it a coral reef or like a cold water reef. The organisms build right on top of each other, so they're immediately buried by more organisms. So they don't have a chance to degrade or get eroded away.
And then you've got stuff like Lake Naton.
Like Natrone? Yeah.
Because they'll definitely be fossils.
Yeah.
I think Ember's regretting his life choices.
Yep.
Either that or he's being awakened to something.
Trust me, I can't get past low. It just gets really bad.
Environment would need to be one that would cut off the oxygen.
I mean, that stuff is kind of fun, but maybe let's not recommend more stuff like that for the stream.
I've got worse stuff than that because I know most of the crap that's out there.
Oh, for crying out loud!
Of course you do.
Yeah.
Look, people, if you're interested, you can get in contact with Beamsy somehow. But let's enough for now.
If you ever want to sleep again, I don't
opportunity
advise
for
it.
scavengers and other things to get to that particular dead animal or that particular thing that would be looking to be fossilized. And so most things that die, well, they don't fossilize at all. And a third reason why we might not expect for humans and dinosaurs to be found in the same place in the fossil record is that many times it is the case that humans might not have been living in the same vicinity as dinosaurs when those dinosaurs.
Okay, first, vicinity. Second, humans live in many different environments, and so did dinosaurs. If they were around at the same time, their habitats would definitely overlap.
Well, Tapioca, I'll send it to you, and then let's see how long you last.
Oh dear.
Dinosaurs were killed. And what we mean by that is it's probably the case that humans didn't spend a whole lot of time next to or living right beside or with, inst, and among dinosaurs while they lived at the same time from the beginning of creation. It's probably the case that when a group of dinosaurs was around, not many people were very close to that group. And if that group of dinosaurs happens to die and fossilize, say in a flood or something of that nature, then humans might not have been there with those dinosaurs when they would have fossilized.
I mean, cool hypothetical, bro. Any evidence for any of that? Any of it? You just said just a whole lot of nothing. Just nice
Plane
fan fiction.
crash.
Shall we go through the Lahar deposition deposits of Endris in Chile? Because it shows how things can be preserved as evidence that something was there.
Just, come on. Come on.
Apparently, there was a plane crash in northern New York earlier today.
Huh.
Near Lake Placid. Or no, it was on Sunday? Well, now the news is all confusing me. I don't know. And
No,
a military jet crash?
oh.
Okay, apparently there's a lot of crashes. That's
the one
weird.
that the one at Lake Placid is big because there was an NFL player, Russ Francis, in it.
Oh.
Hmm.
Yeah, that'd do it.
Meh.
Yeah, my state's known for one plane crash, I think, and it was the day the music died.
Is it a bit too soon if I say that the tight end has now had a nice bang?
Oof.
Oy vey.
Was he a tight end? I don't
He
know
was a
anything
tight-
about sports ball.
He was a tight end.
Oh, I have no idea. I don't.
I don't know what a tight end is, but he was a tight end.
Yeah, American hand egg is impossible to understand.
And another very plausible reason why human and dinosaur fossils haven't been found together is simply the fact that we hardly find any human fossils. We have found
We have tons of them. Like, what are you even talking? We have tons.
Well,
Like,
human
where
fossils,
is
we actually have none.
What was that?
We actually have no human fossils.
Well, Homo
Okay,
sapien.
how are you defining human?
Modern.
I mean, at least some are partially permineralized, I'm sure.
Partially, but they're not actually completely mineralized yet, so they're on
Okay.
their way.
We have remains pretty dang consistently going back millions of years that eventually gradate into modern Homo sapiens. Is
How
that better?
old does a bone have to... I understand, permineralization is the definition of a fossil. But what if you had a bone that was like 10,000 years old and just wasn't permineralized because it wasn't in the right conditions for it?
I mean, it can happen. It depends on the environment and the size of the bone and the bone it depends on a lot of things. But
Yeah. I'm thinking of like some of the ancient catacombs where they just stacked shit tons of bones and some of them are still around. So like,
They
even
would
though they're
actually
not fossilized, would they count as fossils in a
They would
different way?
No, they would start to be fossilized very quickly because of the way that they're stored. The ones that actually wouldn't mineralize quickly are things like the bogman.
really, I think like Well, I guess it depends on if the catacomb is dry or not. But if it's a dry catacomb, I'd think they would permineralize pretty slowly.
Yeah,
It's like
because it needs
groundwater is
water.
usually a very important factor.
Yeah, and that's why when you find things in bogs and tar pits, they usually fossilize at a much slower rate.
Because groundwater can't really get to them. Well, bogs can, but bogs are stagnant water, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I worked with some giant ground sloth fossils, and yeah, going back in time through the fossil remains, you saw a general trend towards less permineralization, but it wasn't a flat curve, and most of them were preserved in different scenarios. One of them actually had a preserved green stick fracture, probably from either the animal's death or right after.
Hmm.
Yeah, you could just see where part of the bone had torn off. Kind of neat. But that said, we have archaic Homo sapiens fossils. Is that okay with you, Beamsy?
We have 6,000 individuals of hominids fossilized remains.
Okay, close enough. Some of them being closer to modern Homo sapiens than others.
Yes.
Thank you. Point is, we
Yeah,
have
I'll
lots
take
of
it.
fossils and or bones. Depending on how you define bone. Let's not get into that argument.
It's better to
very
just basically
few,
say we
but
have the
people
remains
who
of.
study
It would be better
we
just to
have
remain
remains.
because it covers
We have
both
lots of
fossils
remains.
and non-fossils.
Mm-hmm.
the remains of humans and their fossils tell us that some have suggested that there is not even enough human fossilized remains to fill an entire large coffin. Now it depends.
Well,
Oh boy. So as we've gone over modern humans, maybe not fossils.
But if you go
Remains,
for all
absolutely.
hominids, if you go through all hominids, it would probably fill up the grassed area of a football stadium.
Not sure quite that much space, but
It's getting there.
at least fill a few semi trucks of just remains.
Yeah, but it's getting there. It's just getting harder and harder for them to just say, no, we don't have any. Yeah, the first claim was when there was only enough to really fit on a pool table, and now you're going to fill a couple of pools with them. So it's going to get to the point in which there's just so many of them. How are you going to deny them?
I mean, hell, just recently, didn't we find like 30 Homo naledi?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Regardless of the semi-problematic paper describing them, we have a lot of them. And they're fairly complete, as I understand it. I could be wrong on that.
And I can now safely say that both Dr. Tapioca and I are both softcocks when it comes to that gauntlet challenge.
Okay, then.
Depends on what people are looking at. There may be a few more than that, but the fact of the matter is, humans and
packed if those ones are clean. How big a carton you got?
I think we need a bigger box.
Because depending on if you can separate the pelt, well, no, the hips are going to stay pretty much solid. The skull too. You could probably fit a human skeleton inside a large flower pot.
That's good to know.
If you organize it well. And I say that because I worked in a lab where we had full human skeletons in just drawers. It's all about how you organize it.
You could always just learn from the Snowtown murders.
Not familiar. I'm sure it's horrifying, though.
It's one of the Australian mass murders. There were 8 bodies and 6 plastic barrels.
Yeah,
That
that'd
seems
do it.
inefficient.
Well, the barrels were full of
Oh.
acid.
Ah,
Oh,
yes,
well-
acid.
Yeah. And okay, purple, that changes things. If you can break the bones,
I mean, just
depending on how well you grind
powder
it,
the whole thing and put them in coffee jars.
This coffee's got a bit of body to it.
yeah, like yeah, especially like spongy bone for humans adds a lot of space without adding much mass. So if you grind it into dust, yeah, probably fit in a milk carton.
We can make bread like they did in the old days before Yahweh got all bitchy about leavened and unleavened bread.
Fee fi fo fum.
Yes.
Huh. Okay, interesting. The murder, interesting. And I like to listen to murder podcasts while I fall asleep. Maybe I can find one about that.
Dinosaurs, well, humans didn't fossilize very often. In fact, we have very few human fossils. So that would be another good reason why you might not.
Define human for me.
I mean, there are some good reasons for that. Like, humans are kind of new in town, comparatively speaking.
I mean, you want to go all the way back to Linnaean taxonomy? Because Linnaeus regarded chimpanzees and orangutans as species of human. So going by that metric, basically any ape fossil from orangutans closer to us would work. So that's a lot of fossils.
Might not find human and dinosaur fossils together. There's also another idea that is very important in this discussion, and that's the idea of a living fossil. A living fossil is an animal that we find in the fossil record, but then there's no fossilized record of that particular animal for, well, in fossil terms, for millions of years.
Incorrect. You're mixing up your turns.
Oh, of course he is.
Yeah,
He
that is
went
a
and confused
Lazarus taxon. A living fossil is just an animal we see, or not even an organism we see represented in the fossil record that we also see today, which ironically enough covers many creatures, but it's usually used to refer to things that have remained virtually unchanged for at least a few tens of millions of years.
Mm-hmm. And it's important to note, of course you guys all know, but there's future people, and every video is somebody's first video, that many of these unchanging species did have offshoots that did change, but they didn't perform as well as the existing type, and so they got selected against. Lots of dead ends branching off that particular trunk.
Yeah. We just have a line that is at least superficially consistent because body plans can re-evolve.
Like crabs.
Or snakes.
Sharks.
Lizards have re-evolved into snake-like reptiles a lot of times.
Well, we're not saying there really ever were millions of years, but the way that modern paleontologists discuss fossils, they would include the idea of millions of years. So basically what we're saying is we would find a fossil, say, of a coelacanth fish. And
the coelacanth. I enjoy how Kyle, in this relatively short video, is getting outpaced by his own double talk. But also, let's talk about the coelacanth.
Right? Sure. We talking about this the genus Latimeria, or are we talking about the family Coelacanthidae? I think it's Coelacanthidae.
Yeah,
Could be.
coelacanth an entire family. Then they're of lobe-finned fish. So
Yep, Coelacanthidae.
Like when they talk about the one that we found fossils of. Well, we probably found fossils of several, but in any case, we found fossils, didn't find any living today, assumed they were extinct. Then we found a living coelacanth, but it's a different fucking species than the fossil ones.
Mm-hmm.
but it looks similar.
It
and
it looks like a maple leaf.
and I'm sorry before anyone gets wants to get pedantic with me. Coelacanth, so coelacanths, modern ones, belong to an order called coelacanthiforms. An order. Coelacanthidae is a separate family. Modern coelacanths are from a separate family, Latimeridae, within the suborder Latimerinoidae, or Latimerioidae, within the order Coelacanthiforms. So
I bet they evolved into dragons. That's why they have. If they had, they'd totally have like 6 legs plus a tail, and breathe fire and shit. Yeah.
it only gets worse because it only gets worse.
An area of the fossil record that would be dated at 65 million years ago. And then for the rest of the fossil record, we wouldn't find any coelacanth fish in that fossil record. Well, that's what happened with the coelacanth fish. It was found in about 65 million year old ground, supposedly. Of course, there's never been millions.
The order apparently goes back to about 400 million years, but okay.
Of years, and that's just the date that was given to that. But then we were told that that particular fish had gone extinct. But in 1938, off the coast of Madagascar, fishermen pulled up a fish that looked remarkably like a coelacanth fish, and then as they began to study it, it was just that. And so we found a living fossil, a creature that is now alive, that the last record we had of that was in the fossil record at 60.
Yeah. Yeah. We thought they were extinct because we had no reason to think they were still alive. The modern coelacanths are very specialized within their group.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of ocean that we haven't fully identified yet. But for comparison, what he's talking about is like saying we thought humans were extinct, and then we found a South American monkey and went, oh, well, this is clearly a human, because that's the degree of relationship we're talking about here.
But also, I do want to check, because I could be wrong, but if I'm correct, the genus name Latimeria is actually kind of a funny name.
I mean, all names are funny names.
Well, okay, yeah. So, Latimeria was a hypothesized landmass before the theory of plate tectonics that supposedly existed between mainland Africa and Madagascar. It was thought to be a sunken, lost continent. And I think it's funny that the coelacanth got named at least after that area, because it was also sunken and lost, but then found.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of like lost continents that are believed to be in the Indian Ocean area.
Yeah, though that was mostly before the modern theory of plate tectonics, but It's funny. I feel that it might just be a coincidence because I think Latveria can also just
Lemuria.
be.
That's what I
Huh?
was thinking of. It's I'm sure it's the same lost continent, but I've heard it called Lemuria because they needed it to explain how lemurs got to different parts of the globe with where there's ocean in the way. After Noah's flood.
Hmm.
So there must have been land there, and then sometime later it sank.
It would still be great to know how the sloths got from South America to the Middle East and back again.
On boats?
I mean, sloths are surprisingly good swimmers. They're also really good at just hanging on to vegetation for a long time. So I could believe they just floated along.
Aquatic
Like,
apes.
do we know where
Well, not
sloths
apes.
first evolved?
Not yet.
Just like curious. Sounds like they evolved in South America. Appears to have. They appear to have. And then they like spread across the South Pacific.
It's interesting because I remember hearing I want to say it was an NPR science brief, but I'm not 100% sure on that one, where there was evidence of, if not sloths, then proto-sloths on Madagascar during the cataclysm that wiped out the dinosaurs. Because they thought it was interesting that these proto-primates were so much older than previous proto-primates, which would go a long way towards explaining why primates are so morphologically different from virtually every other kind of mammal. Like, you can see the relationship between a buffalo and a kangaroo and a mouse. Not so much with primates. They're like their own separate thing.
Apparently there is a lemur called the giant sloth lemur, which
That might be it.
superficially looks similar to sloths. But only superficially.
It's all fascinating.
Yeah.
Million.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. Who
knows?
65 million years ago. And so here's what we know about that the coelacanth lived from that point in the fossil record until present day, but it never left a fossil. And so it's been in existence.
Correction. They almost certainly did leave fossils. It's just that they're still in the deep ocean. And that those sections of the ocean just haven't happened to be thrust up onto a continent.
Yeah. That puzzles me sometimes. Like, because there's huge sections of continent that used to be ocean floor. So it stands to reason that there are large sections of ocean that used to be continent. So who knows how many land-dwelling critter fossils we don't have access to right now because they're in the fucking ocean.
Actually, no. You won't find terrestrial strata within ocean strata. You'll only ever find ocean strata with terrestrial strata because terrestrial strata has a lower silicate amount and therefore is more buoyant. That's why when you go to lines of upwellings, you'll find that the terrestrial strata will always be on top of the oceanic strata.
Wait, are you saying that terrestrial strata will move up through oceanic strata?
It's lighter because when the uplifting usually occurs, or if two plates come up against each other, the terrestrial strata will always go above the oceanic strata.
Ah, okay. I see what you're putting down. Like,
Oh, you mean like in a convergent plate boundary?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. So what I thought you were meaning was like if we have, say, low oceans and we get some terrestrial deposits, and then the oceans rise again and deposit oceanic sediments, that the terrestrial sediments will move up through the oceanic.
No.
Yeah. I was confused. That makes much more sense.
It's why you don't find very much in the way of very old oceanic strata.
Yeah. It just doesn't usually get pushed up, though. There are exceptions. California has some sections of Cretaceous age ocean floor that have been thrust up onto the continent. And those were thrusted up. They're not just there because of ocean levels changing.
That's usually caused by very, very active tectonic motions.
Yeah. The Himalayas are also an example of it. They're mostly oceanic rock, like oceanic sedimentary rock.
That's because two plates met each other and they're
Yep.
both being pressed up.
Yep. It's interesting.
You got different ways you can go. One can subduct and the other one can abduct. Both could abduct and both can actually subduct.
Both subducting is how you get a trench, right? Like
yes.
a proper trench.
It's one of the two ways you can do it, but the most common is one subducts, the other one abducts, and that's the most common. But the other two do occur.
Yeah.
Like the places where we do have oceanic strata is because it's two oceanic plates crashing into one another.
Yeah.
And the ones where but if you actually get an oceanic and a terrestrial plate against each other, the oceanic plate will always subduct.
Mm-hmm. Do you have an alarm set for something there, Ember,
what's
or
that?
was that you, Beamsy? Someone had an alarm go off.
No, that was a phone call. I have to make a move.
Okay. We'll just go ahead and continue. We will be sir.
I'll have myself sitting quietly, so while I deal with something.
Sure. Feel free. Might want to put yourself on mute then, or I can mute you.
No, I actually have a mute on my end. That's why sometimes you don't hear me say things.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Figured. All right. We shall continue.
With humans for as long as humans have been around, but we haven't found human fossils with or among coelacanth fossils. And so you can see that just because there's not a fossil there doesn't mean that humans and that creature didn't live together. Here's what we know. Coelacanth fish live right now.
Okay, Kyle, you know what else we haven't found? I'm pretty sure we haven't found tube worm fossils.
Or talking donkeys.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, yeah, but deep water specialists don't often come up to the surface.
No, with humans, and they have lived as long as humans have been alive. And yet we've never found a fossil of a coelacanth fish and a human together. And so we realize that
So
humans
dinosaurs
don't
live in the
typically
ocean?
live in the deep ocean.
What if they're mer-humans, though?
I'm gonna get you with a spear gun. I'm gonna get you.
that living fossils help us see why it is a very plausible scenario that humans and dinosaurs, their fossils aren't found together. The story of creation, God creating humans on day 6 and God creating dinosaurs on that same day, it matches perfectly with everything we know to be historically and scientifically accurate. And just
Except
because we don't find
everything.
human and dinosaur,
Yeah. And again, gonna cut you off 15 seconds from the end, Kyle, because just, ugh. Yeah,
Fuck you,
okay.
Kyle.
So this last video is 5 minutes long. I think it's the last one I can stomach for tonight, unless Beamsy finds one that's absolutely horrific. Oh, dear.
Beamsy is good at finding horrific things.
Yeah. All right, folks. Let's stay strong. Let's see how this one goes.
Imagine watching an interview on television and hearing a blind, deaf, wrinkled, hunchbacked, bedridden man claim that he was 130 years old. Although many would likely be
Okay.
skeptical of such a declaration of age, if ever there was a man in modern times to live 130 years on Earth, he surely would have looked as worn out as this man. Imagine,
Not
however, if
necessarily.
strong.
I mean, depending, people can age differently. Though I do
Very.
imagine they would probably be pretty tired out, considering we have 120-year-olds that are.
Oh yeah, for sure. But the people who make it to 120, they look surprisingly spry in their 90s. You know,
Yeah,
like I
usually
could see a
because they
person.
super take care of themselves.
Yeah, like I could see a person at 130 who, I mean, obviously there would be some signs of age. There'd be wrinkles. There'd, be various things going on. But then it wouldn't necessarily be hunchbacked and unable to move. In fact, just because of their age, they'd probably be more likely to be able to move and do stuff and function, right up until they just drop dead of, total tissue failure,
I mean, not sure I'd 100% agree with that, but I can see both scenarios, depending on the person.
Purple makes an excellent
marathon
point.
runner with
We have been
Oh,
listening
yeah,
to a
true.
talking ass for the last several hours.
Yes, sorry, Purple. Sorry to burst your bubble. It's been 3 hours. Oh, dear.
fair skin, thick dark hair, low blood pressure, high bone mineral density, and good memory, alleged to be 130 years old. What reasonable individual would believe such a claim? Virtually everyone would doubt the declaration, especially the doctors who had found the man's overall health to be comparable to that of a 20-year-old, not a 130-year-old.
So it's interesting he
take a step into
mentions
the
that, because just yesterday, Creaky Blinder released a video about a person on TikTok who is roughly 20-ish looking, maybe mid-20s, who claims to be a vampire born in 1866, I think.
Yeah, I started to listen to that, and then I cringed too hard, and I quit.
It was pretty damn cringe. But I mean, that person would be in the age range we're talking about and looks like they're in their 20s. So, you know.
Yeah.
Can't rule out the vampires.
the world of evolutionary science. According to evolution's assumption-based geologic time.
Okay, wait, I'm sorry. When did any part of that... When did evolution come into this?
20-year-old, not a 130-year-old. Now take a step into the world of evolutionary science. According to evolution's assumption-based geologic timetable, since dinosaurs supposedly became extinct 65 million years ago, any dinosaur fossil found in the ground must be at least...
So first, this is already... sorry, this is like a grammar thing. You don't have to have supposedly in here. Like, unnecessary word.
I mean, unless he's asserting that dinosaurs are not extinct. Which I suppose is actually
but it's
true.
already it's already according to evolution's assumption-based geologic timetable, which a lot of problems in that already. But yeah. My grammar senses are having problems with this.
65 million years old. But what if the fossils don't appear to be that old? What if, when inspected by scientists, various dinosaur bones around the world were discovered with highly fibrous,
Various?
Microscopic fragments from a bone bigger than you? That's what remains.
Ooh, what
Sorry.
about memory foam bones?
flexible, and resilient bone tissue that, when stretched, returns to its original shape? What if proteins such as collagen were found along with hemoglobin, elastin, and laminin, as well as cell-like structures resembling blood and bone cells? Would evolutionists
Resembling.
come to
Yeah, resembling means a lot there, buddy.
It looks like a maple leaf.
a similar conclusion as most everyone would about a marathon running 130-year-old?
There are people that run marathons in their 80s.
Yeah, I don't
Granted,
know
that's
about 130.
but that's their
Yeah.
80s.
Apparently not. In the last several years, scientists have reported unearthing a variety of dinosaur bones from around the world that are not completely fossilized and which contain intact protein fragments, including.
Oh boy. So if you have a car that is painted entirely blue, like say including the windshield, the mirrors, the lights, whatever, you dumped it in blue. And then I take a black permanent marker and I put a dot on the side. Would you call it a blue and black car? Or would you call it a blue car?
I mean, maybe it's black and blue.
But
Oldest
these
runner.
are
Bauja Singh is believed to be the oldest marathon runner. He was born in 1911 in Punjab, India. He didn't start running until he was 89. He ran his first marathon at 90 and continued to run them until he was 100. He is nicknamed the Turbaned Tornado.
damn, that's older than I thought.
And his personal best for the London Marathon was 6 hours and 2 minutes, which, for the record, is better than I can do, and I used to run track.
But still, yeah, like you have a completely blue car and I put one black dot on it. You would call it a blue car, not a blue and black car. These are fossils. They are fossilized. They have tiny bits.
Yeah, to go back to our first video, if you have to soak it in acid for weeks to make it anything other than rock solid, you don't get to call it soft tissue. It's comparatively, it's former soft tissue.
Yeah.
Ones known as collagen and elastin. Amazingly, once the minerals are stripped away from the soft tissues, the researchers
Minerals stripped away.
have been able to.
Also, I don't know what this image is from.
It looks like a cheeseburger.
Just says Associated Press, so not even citing it. Great.
To squeeze round, dark red, microscopic structures from what is thought to be dinosaur blood vessels. However, since according to one evolutionary author, proteins in tissue normally degrade quickly after an animal dies.
Normally. Yes, normally. Not all of the time. I've worked with 11,000-year-old ground sloth bones that still have substantial collagen.
You mean there are exceptions? When people say normally, they don't mean always? That's why they didn't say always? How strange.
And hey, so fun fact for anyone who works with bones or fossils. Want to know if it's permineralized or not? Grind a bit of it up. If it's not fully permineralized, you'll catch a whiff of Fritos. The cheap-ass chip brand in the U.S.
Is that how they make Fritos?
I don't think it's how they make them, but it smells just freaking like them. I swear.
Research on soft tissues remain controversial and contentious. Since evolutionists published their findings of soft tissue in 2005 and 2007 about allegedly 68 million year old T Rex soft tissue, a much more thorough study has been done on a supposed 80 million year old fossil from a duck-billed dinosaur. What did researchers find?
Wow.
This time, an even larger number of protein fragments were found. After using chemicals to dissolve away the minerals, scientists have
Okay, a larger number. Let's see. That's Robert F. Service, 2009.
I mean, yeah, once a person trailblazes a technique, other people are going to use the technique and find more things with it. But yeah, that's cool.
Even
I
larger
haven't
number can be practically none or plenty.
heard anybody mention a duck-billed dinosaur in a long time.
Man, I say it sometimes. Okay, so it's in science. I might not be able to get the full article.
Oh, hadrosaurs. Okay, yeah, you do mention those pretty frequently.
Yeah.
See, that's how long it's been. I didn't even realize they were the same damn thing.
Yeah. I'm finding a summary here. Am I able to get the full thing?
I do miss having academic credentials so I could like view entire papers, getting abstracts only, not even a full abstract, just like the first paragraph is frustrating as hell.
Oh, hey, I found a 2009 Apologetics Press article written up on it. Oh, they actually cited their sources. On JSTOR, you gonna let me see it? Boop. No, you're not gonna let me do it.
It doesn't wanna.
It does not wanna. I don't know. Either way, like, you can find a little bit. Give me an article. Might be able to find a.
Oh, okay.
Got a link on JSTOR, which might have the full article. I mean, it might actually. This might not even be a study.
Hum.
Yeah, this doesn't appear to be from a study. This appears to be from. Yeah, this is an article written on something that was done. Okay.
Hey, articles can be nice too.
Yeah. And sure, purple. I could email the author, but it's not that big right now, at least. It's just an even larger number of protein fragments. So I did find an image of the article. It's it looks like it might be a couple. It looks like a couple cells, but that's what it looks like. That might not be what it is. Specifically, they look like osteocytes, which are the cells in bone,
Mm-hmm.
which could definitely be possible that at least their outlines are preserved. It's interesting, but this isn't a problem because like an even larger number is a couple cells big. How many cells are in a human?
Lots.
How many cells are in the human body?
Human cells are all cells.
40 trillion, according to Google. Okay, how much bigger than a human is a Tyrannosaurus Rex?
Pretty big.
Yeah, but like a lot. So the odds of fragments of a few cells surviving, it's bigger if you have more mass.
Seen what appears to be a network of soft, transparent vessels, cells, and extracellular matrix. One Harvard Medical School biochemist independently confirmed the presence of collagen, as well as laminin and elastin, two proteins found in blood vessels. Any strong, marathon running, dark haired, fair skinned, wrinkle free, 20-year-old looking modern man who claims to be 130 years old would be discredited immediately. Science and common sense would demand that the 130-year date be rejected. But what about the date's evolution?
But what if he gives you a valid birth certificate and he is from 1890?
How?
It's still a bad. It's still a. It's still a sucky equivalence, but come on, man.
I found the article.
Yeah.
Yep, it was multi-published in many places, including science.org.
Yeah. Well, there we go.
Evolutionists give us for these rather young looking dinosaur bones.
You would not say that if you saw the actual bone. I know because I've seen the actual bone. It doesn't look like a young bone.
Bones with what one evolutionist called miraculously preserved.
And yet, Dandy, I'm trying to find the art, what it's referencing. I don't know if it was actually published or not.
Soft tissue.
According
Now
to the
that
article, the second
Mm-hmm.
paper was published this week, which would be 2017, in Nature Communications. And lead researcher was Robert Reis.
Not Robert Service?
No, Service just wrote the article about the papers.
Okay. I don't. I'm sorry. It's interesting, but it's not that important to the discussion, really.
Oh yeah,
If
it's
they're just
tangential.
incredulous, there could be anything preserved.
Yep, argument from personal incredulity.
Mm-hmm.
But I do
Also,
love tangents.
Thessallosaurus. Oh, that's interesting. It's a cute little dinosaur.
Controversial and contentious dinosaur collagen has been confirmed. Are leading evolutionists reconsidering the age of dinosaur fossils?
No, we have no reason to. Also, I'm pretty sure that's not a dinosaur tooth. Pretty sure that's a mosasaur tooth. Anyway,
Are they considering the possibility that dinosaurs may have
I know that T-Rex model. Sorry, just kind of funny. Was it? No, okay, it's not what I was thinking, but I recognize that T-Rex.
may have lived hundreds or thousands of years ago rather than 60 plus million years ago? Apparently not, at least not in their writings. Evolutionists are eerily silent about this blatant contradiction. How can dinosaur fossils, reportedly 80 million years old or 29,200,000,000 days old, contain collagen, hemoglobin, elastin, and
Ooh,
Personal
I got one better for you,
ingenuity.
lions. How about 195 million years old?
Yep.
I do love these tangents.
And they're fun tangents. It's just like this isn't an issue. Stop making it out like it's an issue. Just
Yeah,
when they try to say like Michele Mbembe would disprove evolution. No.
It's also
Also,
fascinating that they find remnants of hemoglobin and other iron-rich proteins around the collagen. Again, high amount of iron deposit from the organic material is preserving the proteins. That's what we found in all of them so far. Seems to be a bit of a trend.
yeah. Also, yeah, I found it again. Yeah, the T-Rex is from a failed game called The Stomping Land that appears to have basically just been a cash grab from Kickstarter, which I think is kind of ironic and funny. They used it in here.
and laminin, as well as cell-like structures resembling blood and bone cells. The problem is not with dinosaur bones. Repeated studies over the last several years have verified the presence of soft tissue. The problem is with the assumption-based evolutionary dating methods. Dinosaur bones are not 80 million years old. To learn more
Prove
about
it.
dinosaurs,
Just nothing but just incredulity. Come on, nothing.
Straight up assertions. If you push him, he'll say because Bible. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah, like I thought this would be a fun thing, and it kind of was, but they just have nothing other than repeating their BS.
Isn't
Nothing.
it amazing how every time we do one of these, we learn nothing from these fuckers, but we learn a bunch of very, very loosely unrelated stuff because of the dumb shit these fuckers say.
Yeah, honestly, it's kind of my favorite part of these, just the semi possibly related tangents.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, citation needed.
I know, I still gotta work on that. I'm still using my old citation thing. I need to upgrade it to citation.
We had a pretty good time a month or so ago. Was that where we discovered Chuck Tingle?
Oh, when was that?
That
Was
was
it a month ago?
fabulous.
Yeah.
A month or two ago. That was fabulous.
I mean, I like to think we usually have a pretty good time.
Yeah, but that was like special.
Yeah, Tingle was exceptional.
We were all laughing our asses off, and I still remember we didn't lose a single viewer during the whole exploration. Oh, dear. Ah, well. It has been 3.5 hours, though.
Indeed.
Sorry, I'm yawning. Ugh. I think now's a good time to probably call it quits.
Yeah,
Thank you for joining.
We did some good work.
Ember. Oh, I'll just thank you for joining, Mark. Thank you for joining, Beamsy. Beamsy might still be in a call, but thank you for joining. Thank you to Mark for popping by earlier. Thank you to everyone out there in the chat for joining us. If you enjoyed the theater, please do the whole like and subscribe thing. Go check out Ember's channel. Go check out Mark's channel. You know, Mark's going to have new stuff soon. Ember's been working on a video for a while, which I'm excited to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have another Creation Science Theater. Same time next week. 9 p.m. Eastern. What's that? 5 p.m. Pacific? Something like that. On
8,
Mondays.
7, 6 Pacific.
6.
5 Alaska time. And 4 Hawaii time. And 10 Nova
6.
Scotia time.
Roughly something like that. Anywho, everybody, have a good evening. Have a good day, wherever you are. And we'll see you later.
Night, folks.